Well, here at Molineux alongside Perry Groves and Ian Danter, there's quite a few suspicious minds around this stadium, what with been happening with VAR recently. And Ian, there's a bit of a protest planned any time now. Can you give us more information on that, enlighten us?
The Old Gold Pack is the Supporters Association of Wolverhampton Wanderers that have organised this, because they're all shook up about VAR, John. They want it binned. So Perry was actually desperate to get hold of one of the cards that they're going to be brandishing.
Well, there's no danger of Wolves going way down. Absolutely no chance.
There's a banner I can see being held up actually in the Stan Cullis end. Give us back our game. Enough is enough. Show VAR the red card. So there's banners all over Molineux, and of course Wolves fans are as disgruntled as pretty much any group of fans, John, about the way VAR has been deployed this season. You can go back to the first game against Manchester United. What does that say? No apologies, just fairness. That's another banner, and these haven't been drawn with, bits of paint on bed sheets. These have been properly prepared banners that Wolves fans. This is a concerted effort by Wolves fans to raise this issue, and I just wonder, John, whether this is a trickle that won't become a flood, or whether other clubs might see what Wolves are doing here today and think maybe we should do the same if we feel as strongly as they do.
Yeah, some interesting VAR decisions in the Premier League game earlier on that we brought you on Talksport. Liverpool winning 2-1 at Crystal Palace there. Let's just quickly talk about the attack that Wolves had, as we heard Gary O'Neill talking there, Perry, and Hwang Hee-chan is in impeccable form at the moment. And you mentioned earlier they were looking for someone to pick up with Neto injured, and he's certainly taken it and run.
Yeah, if you look at the midweek, the game against Burnley, where that's a finish which was full of a player that's full of confidence. Hwang Hee-chan's got himself 9 goals, and it's not just the goals that he's got his assists, but it's his work rate off the ball. And we said earlier about Nottingham Forest, where some of the players don't do the defensive jobs. Hwang Hee-chan is a player that does. He makes sure that he tracks back, he gets himself back in a team shape, which Gary O'Neill is very, very big on. And he actually mentioned in an early interview about Mateus Cunha, saying how fantastic he was because he can play off the cuff. He's got a lot of ability, he's got a lot of pace, and he's got a lot of imagination, invention. But then he's trying to get him to buy into being structured and doing his job defensively. So they've got loads and loads of pace at the front. They've got Sarabia, again, who's got that little bit of a jink, and he can come inside, go outside. He can see a pass as well. So they're a major threat going forward. And it looks like he's going to go 3-4-3, because I was at the Emirates last Saturday when it went 5-3-2, and Wolves went 2 goals down after 13 minutes. And a lot of teams would have capitulated, but they didn't. They had a backbone. They got themselves back in the game in the 86th minute when Cunha scored an absolute worldie. And that just shows the fighting spirit of this Wolverhampton Wanderers team. And they're excellent here at Molineux. They've only lost 2 of the last 12. Beaten Spurs, obviously 2 late goals. Beaten Man City. So this is a team that is very, very well coached, and they try and do what the manager asks them to.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a really interesting game. Possibly Steve Cooper's job on the line here. It's live on Talksport 2. Of course, you can take us with you on the Talksport app, or ask your smart speaker to play Talksport 2 as well. That was the voice of former Arsenal winger Perry Groves, alongside league commentator this afternoon here at Molineux, Ian Danter.
Thank you, John, and a very good afternoon to you wherever and however you're listening to Talksport 2. We're about to bring you the decider in the ODIs between England and West Indies at tea time here on Talksport 2. Well, Nottingham Forest were very nearly hit for 6 by Fulham in the week. It ended up only being 5-0, but that defeat has once again raised questions as to the future of their beleaguered manager Steve Cooper, who's already ridden out 1 storm since Nottingham Forest won promotion back to the Premier League. And they make the short trip from East to West Midlands to take on a Wolves side who could go 10th above Chelsea with a win here this afternoon, but they have lost their last 2 Saturday 3 o'clock kickoffs. But they did beat Burnley here by a 1-0 last time out, and Gary O'Neill, the Wolves boss, makes just 1 change from that starting lineup, and it's Jose Sarr back after a back spasm to resume his place in goal. Daniel Bentley drops to the bench. So in front of Jose Sarr, the back 3 are Maximilian Kilman, Craig Dawson and Totti Gomez, Nelson Semedo, Mario Lemina, Joao Gomez and Hugo Bueno as a midfield 4. Hwang Hee-chan, 6 goals in 7 appearances here, along with Matías Cunha and Pablo Sarabia in attack. For Forest, after that horror show at Craven Cottage, 7 changes for Steve Cooper and Forest. Out go Vlachodimos, Aina, Felipe, Sangare, Hudson-Odoi, Dominguez and Origi. And this is the reverted starting 11. Matt Turner, the American, back in goal. Moussa Niakate comes in along with former Wolf Willy Bolly alongside Murillo in defence. Nico Williams and Harry Topolo as wing-backs. Oro Mangala, Chet Kuyati and Ryan Yates in centre midfield. Morgan Gibbs-White and Anthony Elanga up front. Gibbs-White, a former Wolf, let's not forget. Wolves in their traditional old gold and black will be kicking towards the Stan Cullis. To our left-hand side, we're sat in the Billy Wright stand at the bottom of the top tier at this famous old stadium. The Forest fans opposite us in the lower tier of the Steve Bull, and the Jack Hayward stand, the single tier stand to our right. And Forest in their change strip this afternoon of dark blue shirts with amber stripes and amber marks on the shorts will get us underway. Forest are heading for the Jack Hayward stand to our right in this first period. Wolves, as I say, in the old gold and black. And a chance straight away for Forest to come forward. It's laid off by Elanga, but picked up by Matías Cunha in midfield. All the other 3 o'clock games getting underway, and I'll let you know what's happening score-wise elsewhere. 1 or 2 games have been postponed in League 2. Games at Barrow, Bradford, Forest Green, Mansfield and Sutton are no longer going ahead this afternoon, but there's plenty of football elsewhere that I'll keep you in touch with here on Talksport 2 this afternoon. Craig Dawson at the back for Wolves. Passes left for Totti Gomez, who trots toward the halfway line, chips it into the centre of the field looking for Hwang, just drifts away from him, and down went Niakate. Or was it Murillo that went down? The ball's eventually back with Jose Sarr, and the Forest player can receive some treatment. Perry Groves alongside him this afternoon. A minute gone, 0-0.
Yes, a minute gone, and so Murillo's just gone down injured. This looks like he might have just stretched his thigh or his hip, because as he just challenged Hwang Hee-chan for the ball, he just landed awkwardly on his left foot, so he might have just either jarred his hip or jarred his knee. So quite rightly, Sam Barrett, the referee, just blew the whistle because he could tell it was a serious injury. Just looking at Wolves the way they've lined up Dance. Hwang Hee-chan's going to go through the middle. Cunha will be on the right of him. Sarabia on the left-hand side of him. And as we expected with Nottingham Forest, it's a 5-3-2. Morgan Gibbs-White and Anthony Elanga up front, with Mangala, Kuyate and Ryan Yates, the captain, in midfield.
Elanga just getting some instructions from Alan Tate, Steve Cooper's assistant coach, whilst there's this break in play. Murillo's been led to this near side, so he's going to have to wait 30 seconds before he can be reintroduced, because he's had treatment on the field of play. 2 minutes gone on Talksport 2, 0-0 the score. Nottingham Forest 2 wins in 27 away games, but they have won on the road this season. Perry and I were there at Stamford Bridge to see them win through an Anthony Elanga goal against Chelsea. Now Kilman firing the ball down the right hand side, looking for Hwang, who went down under minimal pressure from Moussa Niakate, but our referee today, Sam Barrett, says nothing doing. And the boos you hear are for Morgan Gibbs-White, former Wolves player who felt he didn't get a fair crack of the whip when he was a Wolves player, and I would tend to agree with him, but the Wolves fans do not forget those that criticise their own.
Well, it is a pantomime season, Dance, isn't it? And
yeah.
Morgan Gibbs-White will be the pantomime villain. It always amazes me with the away fans when they start booing, so home fans start booing the away player, because that just makes you play better. That just inspires you. It should be apathy, so when he touches the ball, just have complete silence.
Murillo's back out there for Nottingham Forest. Ryan Yates, one of those players, back in the side today. Can't keep the ball in play on this near side, so Wolves have thrown the ball back into play. It's back with Maximilian Kilman, who's looked very tidy and adept the more I see him play at the back for Wolverhampton Wanderers. And he will clip the ball to his immediate right for Lamina. Back for Kilman once more. It's just ahead of his own 18-yard line. Dawson to his left, being closed down by Elanga. And now Totti Gomez slides it up to the halfway line, looking for Hugo Bueno to flick it on, but it just trickled over the touchline on this near side of the Billy right side for a Forest throw, 0-0.
Yeah, so about Max Kilman, he comes from the football, doesn't he, background where he actually a football international. You can tell that he's very, very good technically. Just looking at Nottingham Forest, basically what they've done when Wolves are in possession, they've said, right, the Wolves three centre-halves, Kilman and Dawson and Gomez, you can have the ball, and then we'll have Morgan Gibbs-White and Antti Langer trying to close those three down, and then behind those front two for Nottingham Forest, Wolves just gone man for man, just to make sure that they can't get out.
Gibbs-White couldn't control the throw that was sent down the right-hand side for him, much to the delight of the locals. So Wolves get a throw instead in their left-back position, 10 yards from the corner flag of the Jack Hayward end of the ground. It's going to be launched back into play by Totti Gomez. And he'll get a header clear, but only as far as Morgan Gibbs-White. Tries to flick it in field for Kouyaté, but that was picked off by Lamina, who flicks it out to this near side of the left-hand touchline, and Hwang fires the ball from left to right to pick out Nelson Semedo, who's been another increasingly impressive Wolves player under Gary O'Neill. Out to the right-hand side it goes. Early ball downfield from Cunha, looking to release Hwang through the middle, but Forest win it back. Yates in the centre circle will lay it off to Willy Bolly, former Wolves player. Back it goes to Murillo, who's none the worse for wear after that awkward landing early on in the game. Mangala looking to play the ball over halfway. It was headed back straight at him by his opposite number, Lamina, but it's with Bolly once more. Yates has come in field just inside his own half for Nottingham Forest. Now Murillo, the Brazilian, who has been getting some good reviews himself this season. It's picked up by Gibbs-White, centre of the Wolves half, slides into the area looking for Yates, but it's just too far ahead of the onrushing midfielder, and Jose Sarr can pounce on the loose ball just to the left of his 6-yard box. 0-0.
Yeah, it was really poor header from Totti Gomez initially. Just came straight to the feet of Morgan Gibbs-White, and Ryan Yates made a really good run from the centre of pitch out to this right-hand side, and it was just overhit slightly from Morgan Gibbs-White. Maybe just needed to take a pound off of the weight of the pass, and it'd have been straight into his path. And neither team at the moment can get themselves into any passing rhythm. We've got Hwang Hee-Chang, who's looking really busy for Wolves, dropping short. He had a brilliant switch of play earlier on from Wolves' left-hand side over to right-hand side with Semedo, but he gave the ball away really cheaply. So neither team can really get themselves into any passing rhythm.
That's Perry Groves, former Arsenal title winner, alongside me, Ian Dante, this afternoon. Earlier today, Liverpool went top, winning 2-1 very late on at Palace, live on Talksport. Bournemouth had the lead at Old Trafford against Manchester United. Dominic Solanke opens the scoring for the Cherries at Old Trafford, and Reading lead Barnsley in League One. Harvey Nibbs for the Royals, who are still deep in trouble after their points deduction, second from bottom. Can't keep clean sheets either. Can they today and pick up 3 points? Free kick for Nottingham Forest just outside their own 18-yard box. What have you spotted there, Perry Groves?
No, just you said about Liverpool beating Crystal Palace earlier, so Jurgen's going to be loving the half-12 kickoffs now, and he gives his team a little bit more rest.
I sense maybe not a sarcastic response to a question.
Don't mention half-12 kickoffs to Jurgen.
Yeah,
he just doesn't like it. It gets a little bit touchy.
I mentioned it once, but I think I got away with it. Isn't that what it said on Faulty Towers? Anyway, moving swiftly on. It's Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Semedo, just inside his own half, clips it out to the right-hand side. It's well kept in play by Cunha, but Forest do win it back, trying to send it up to halfway for a Langer. It's half volleyed back downfield by the Wolves defence. Hwang thought about giving chase, but Forest have won it back. It's clipped up to halfway, but Gibbs-White can't win the flick on. Kilman knocks it forward, almost broke for Cunha at the edge of the area, but there's enough Forest players around to win it back. Rangers 0, Dundee 1 in Scotland. Amadou Bakayoko puts Dundee ahead at Rangers, who've not lost since September, remember. Philippe Clement, their new manager, trying to close down Celtic at the top. 0-0 at Molineux. 8 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Wolves in possession inside their own half with Totti Gomez. He plays it into the feet of Cunha. Now Sarabia finds Hugo Bueno. João Gomez wanted it, but instead Craig Dawson drills the ball out to Semedo on the right-hand side. He's kept it in play well, Semedo, but he's faced up by Toffolo. So back he goes into his own half for Kilman. Kilman into the feet of Hwang, inside the centre circle, trying to turn away from the challenge of Mangala. Rolls it along the halfway line to Sarabia. And as Hugo Bueno, Sarabia's made a lovely run. No one's gone with the run in the inside left channel, but he wasn't found. And eventually the ball trickled out of play for a Forest throw, 0-0.
Yeah, he's a bit better in possession from Wolverhampton. Was there. Hwang Hee-Chang getting himself involved again, coming a little bit deep, getting it off of Craig Dawson, then laying it off to Sarabia, who tried to play a little give and go with Bueno, and he said there, Dan, if Bueno would have got his head up, all it needed was just to get it onto his right foot, a little dink over the Nottingham Forest back three, and Sarabia would have been in, but he decided just to check inside. And just looking at Wolves' manager, Gary O'Neill, he's been like a jack in the box, gone back into the dugout, then out to the edge of his technical area, and I think he just wants Wolves just to pass the ball just a little bit quicker. Maybe they're taking that one touch too many, and that's enabling Nottingham Forest to get himself set defensively.
Steve Cooper looks a little calmer as he stands at the edge of his technical area, just down to our left-hand side. Gary O'Neill very much the more lively of the two at this moment in time. 10 minutes gone. 0-0 on Talksport 2. Wolves clear their lines, but only as far as Niakate, and then a heavy challenge from Kouyaté wins a free kick for Wolves midway point of their own half. Goals going in elsewhere. Burton Albion leads Stevenage by a 1-0. No clean sheet and 7 for Burton, but Adejeji Oshilaja with a goal for the Brewers. And AFC Wimbledon leads Swindon Town by a 0-0. Omar Bugil for a very erratic AFC Wimbledon side at the moment. Win, loss, win, loss, win in their last 5. 0-0 here. Lamina gives chase down the right-hand side for Wolves, but it's won back by Murillo for Nottingham Forest, and then they win a throw over on the far side in front of those travelling Forest fans in numbers, filling up the entire bottom tier of that Steve Bull stand opposite our commentary position. 0-0.
Yeah, Steve Cooper, Nottingham Forest manager, I think he'll be quite pleased the way that they've started in this sort of first 10 minutes. His goalkeeper Matt Turner hasn't actually touched the ball as he danced in free play.
I think you're right.
So conceding 62 goals from the start of last season, the most of any team. So we want just to manage the first 15-20 minutes so his team can get a foothold in the game. That's what they're doing at the moment.
Certainly from the Wolves fans I spoke to, the spectacle here against Burnley wasn't dazzling from a Wolves point of view, but they got the job done. They got the 3 points. Got a chance to go into the top half of the table this afternoon if things go their way. Remember, this is their 6th season at Premier League level, and I don't think they've finished lower than 13th in that time.
Well, Wolves fans will be feeling very similar to Everton fans. Everton fans have got an official points deduction, but Wolves fans will feel that they've had a 9-point deduction.
Yeah.
If that was the case and the VAR decisions went the right way for them, then they'd be up to probably 10th in the table.
Toffolo out on the left-hand side for Forest, level with the edge of the area, tried to whip a first-time crossing. Kilman won it back, and then he was tripped by Toffolo, and Sam Barrett, the young referee, makes the decision for Wolves. It's only his 7th Premier League game. We've watched him a couple of times this season, haven't we, Sam Barrett? We did, but Wolves were playing Luton. That's right.
He had a very good game, actually. He tried to let the game flow, didn't he? He wasn't giving out unnecessary yellow cards. He gave what everybody thought was a controversial penalty when I think it was Lamina's hand was away from his body, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was the rules. We actually thought it was a natural position, but the rules didn't enable Sam Barrett not to give a penalty, so he actually made the right decision.
See, that's his reward for being fast-tracked through the system. Suddenly gets the sword of Damocles of VAR hanging over his head. 12 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Nottingham Forest 0-0 with Wolverhampton Wanderers in this very important day, you sense, for Steve Cooper, as his academy product Ryan Yates tries to win the ball off Totti Gomez, went to ground, claimed a free kick, nothing to it, but Gibbs White has it back in the centre of the Wolves half, just lays it right for Kouyaté. It slid out to the right wing, chance for Williams to get a cross in, lovely cross from Williams to the far post, and it's in from Toffolo. Forest lead. Harry Toffolo from a delightful cross. The two wing-backs combine. A crucial goal for Nottingham Forest and a crucial goal for Steve Cooper, surely. 15 minutes gone almost. It is Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
It was a really well-constructed goal from Nottingham Forest. Morgan Gibbs-White gives the ball to Chet Kouyaté, then he just feeds it out to his right-hand side to Nico Williams, and then not the Wolverhampton Wanderers players just back off. They've got to go and close the ball down. Nico Williams then just thinks, right, you give me enough space, I'm going to get it onto my right foot. Then he just pulls it back onto his right foot. Away go Bueno, should be closing him down, and from the far side Toffolo gets himself in from that left-hand side, and it's a towering header from Harry Toffolo. Just puts it back across Jose Sarr, gives him absolutely no chance. A brilliantly constructed goal from Nottingham Forest to put themselves deservedly 1-0 up.
First goal for Nottingham Forest for Harry Toffolo, and it gives them a precious advantage here at Molineux. So the gauntlet has been thrown down to the home side, and as you'd said, Perry Groves, Forest had acquitted themselves relatively well in this opening quarter of an hour. They haven't really dominated Wolves, but they've certainly been more than a match, and they have the lead on Talksport 2. And now Niakate forced to clear his lines and hoiks it out into those Forest fans in that lower tier. Can Wolves respond quickly? They're a goal down here.
Well, we mentioned that Matt Turner, the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper, hadn't touched the ball down today in open play. Jose Sarr, I think the first time he's touched the ball from open play is to pick it out the back of his net.
Totti Gomez for Wolves inside his own half. Squares the ball to his right for Dawson. Dawson out to the right-hand side. Incidentally, for those interested in European football, Bayern Munich are losing 3-1 at Eintracht Frankfurt this afternoon. Matheus Cunha into the area. Oh, what a sliding challenge from Willy Boly, the former Wolverhampton Wanderers centre-half. Stopping Cunha, running down the right-hand side of the 6-yard box. Got a toe end on it, Willy Boly. It is a Wolves corner at the Stan Cullis end. 1-0 Forest.
Dance, that's an unbelievable tackle from Willy Boly, because normally when you have a sliding tackle, the ball's on the floor, but the ball actually bounced up in the air, and it's a sliding tackle on the volley, just takes it off of Matheus Cunha's toe. Corner for Wolves over on the right-hand side.
In comes the corner into the near post, headed back by Nico Williams to the far side. Kept in play. Swung back into the box by Sarabia. Bounces around the edge of the area. It's hooked clear by Gibbs-White in the end for Forest. Only half clear, but in steps Chet Kouyaté and gets rapturous applause from the Forest fans opposite for making sure he got the ball before the Wolves player did, and hooked it out of play into those Forest fans. 1-0 here to Forest. Another East Midlands sider ahead. Leicester City lead Plymouth by a 0-0 in the Championship. A penalty from Stepi Mavididi for the Foxes. 1-0 there at the King Power. 1-0 here to Forest at Molineux.
Yeah, Plymouth only ever won one game in 20 at Leicester in all comps. That's when Paul Sturrock was the manager of Plymouth. So that's a long journey, isn't it, for the Pilgrims going up to the East Midlands.
Well, the longest journey would have been Gillingham travelling up to Barrow this afternoon. I don't know how far they got before the game was postponed. But yeah, it's a fair old trek. I saw a few Plymouth fans actually in the motorway services on my way up, so won't be particularly HP at the moment, with the leaders of the Championship ahead. We've got some great Championship action here for you on Monday evening on Talksport from League One. Don't miss this. Portsmouth against Bolton, two former Premier League sides, 1 and 2 in League One. That promises plenty. Make sure you're with us on Talksport 2 for that from 7 o'clock on Monday night. Ball's back with Craig Dawson for Wolves. So we're a goal down here. Flick from Hugo Bueno. Didn't do what he intended. He was trying to help it down the left-hand touchline for Hwang, but didn't really get anything on the flick. And so it went out of play right in front of Steve Cooper for a throw taken by Boly. Headed back towards halfway by Totti Gomez. Lamina heads it down, goes past Sarabia, and Cunha gets his head up and plays it to Sarabia, who knows he's got Semedo motoring on his outside. Right-hand side for Wolves. Cunha down the right-hand side of the box, plays the ball into the area, but cleared away by Murillo, but it's picked up by Wolves again. João Gomez now, back to halfway, and Dawson. Lamina finds Sarabia in the inside right position. Another sliding challenge by Mangala to win it back temporarily, but now Hwang for Wolves, left-hand corner of the penalty area, slides it down the left-hand side for Hugo Bueno, deep cross to the far post. Semedo has to let it run across his body to bring it down, brings in Kilman floats the ball into the box, headed away by Murillo for Forest, and then Gibbs-White loses out to Joao Gomez, a bit casual in possession there. Morgan Gibbs-White dispossessed by Joao Gomez. Wolves again, left-hand side, midway point of the Forest half, 1-0 Forest lead. Joao Gomez lobs the ball up to the edge of the area. Cunha couldn't get away from Murillo, and Nico Williams thinks about clearing it downfield, checks back inside, hits the ball against Hugo Bueno, and it's a throw to Forest right by their corner flag in their defensive third, right-hand side. But they lead Wolves by a goal to nil on Talksport 2.
Yeah, just Wolves trying to create that little bit of pressure, just switching the play from right to left. There's a little ball from Wang Hee-Chang, just rolled it down the left-hand side. In the end, he actually overhit it to Hugo Bueno, and he was actually stretching to get his cross in. That meant he overhit it to the right-hand side to Nelson Semedo. So Wolves just not quite getting that quality into the box. But you have to say, every time the ball's coming into the 18-yard box, the three centre-halves of Nottingham Forest, Niakate, Bolly and Murillo, are on the front foot. Every time it's come in, they've made sure that they're making that challenge, winning their 50-50s.
Gary O'Neill's just gone over to have a very quiet, respectful word with the fourth official, Tony Harrington, about the length of time it's taking for Forest to get the ball back into play from throw-ins. You're listening to Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 1 on Talksport 2 with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action, like Aston Villa against Arsenal, live today for £11.99 with no contract. Search Now Sports. Murillo heads the ball out of play as Wolves send it down the left. So Hwang thought about taking the throw in quickly. He's level with the Forest penalty area. Tranmere 0, Newport 1 in League 2. Will Evans gets his 12th of the season to put the Exiles ahead at Prenton Park. Bit scrappy on the left-hand side for Wolves, and they've lost out to Gibbs-White, who slides it, trying to get Elanga away inside the Wolves half, but comfortably across comes Craig Dawson to tidy up and sweep the ball back to his keeper. 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. We've gone past the 20-minute mark on Talksport 2. Aberdeen 0, Hearts 1. Lawrence Shankland, Scottish international, has put Hearts ahead at luckless Aberdeen. No win in 6, Aberdeen, down in 11th in the Scottish Premiership. Ball's out of play for a Wolves, it's a Forest throw it's been given in actual fact, and they lead by a goal to nil. Perry Groves.
Yeah, just looking tactically, Steve Cooper, you can tell that he's worked on his team shape, because when Nottingham Forest are out of possession, they go into 5-4-1, and Morgan Gibbs-White, he makes sure that he just drops off of Elanga, but then he's always looking over his shoulder, so he picks up Joao Gomez, because obviously Gomez is the one who likes to get himself on the ball and get little passing moves going for Wolves. So you can just tell even Morgan Gibbs-White, now the ball's back with Jose Sarr, he's just gone man for man with Joao Gomez to make sure that he can't get the ball.
Remember, once this commentary is finished on Talksport 2, straight off to the West Indies for commentary on the deciding ODI. One apiece between England and the West Indies going into the decider, and the whole match, ball by ball, exclusive commentary right here on Talksport 2. And England's women are playing India's women at the minute in a international T20 match, and England bowled out India's women for 80, and they're 28 for 2 in response. Rangers equalise against Dundee. That's 1-1 in the Scottish Premiership. Wolves fans getting a bit restless here. They trail Forest by a goal to nil midway through the first half. Cunha out to the inside right position for Pablo Sarabia. Further out to the right hand side. The ball's whipped in by Lamina, but it's headed straight back from whence it came and beyond Lamina for a throw to Wolves. In front of those Forest fans on the far side. Lamina's going to leave it for Semedo, who may well launch a long throw into the box, but instead he goes further back to Kilman down this far right-hand touchline on the far side of the field from us. Maximilian Kilman back to Dawson, Totti Gomez, and it's spread from right to left almost immediately by Wolves. But then Gomez goes back into the centre circle for Craig Dawson, a man who's represented both sides of the Black Country divide. Scored on his debut against Liverpool. We were here for that, Perry. He hasn't scored since, Craig Dawson.
Liverpool were awful that day.
Oh, weren't they just? Yet they won today with a super goal from Harvey Elliott in stoppage time to seal a 2-1 win at Crystal Palace, live on Talksport. Here's Totti Gomez for Wolves, clipping the ball into the Forest box, headed away by Murillo, tidied up by Elanga, gets it back from Ryan Yates, then he's given it away, 2 away down the left hand side for Wolves. Cunha, left hand corner of the box, oh what a footing again from Willy Bolly, the former Wolves man, stayed on his feet and made a terrific challenge, because Cunha looked for all the world like he was going to get away down the left-hand side of the area.
That's the second time that Willy Bolly's had fantastic timing on his tackles, you said there, because at first it looked like Cunha was just going to toe poke it past it and Willy Bolly was going to give a penalty away, but his timing of his interception was absolutely perfect. Just really bad play from Anthony Elanga, just trying to put it late off to Toffolo. Toffolo had run past him, and that enabled Bueno just to set Cunha away. But you say it was fantastic defending from Willy Bolly.
Huddersfield 1, Bristol City 0 in the Championship. Delano Bergsorg for the Terriers, who start the day in 21st in the table. That's a big goal for Huddersfield, 3 unbeaten. Now Wolves down the left-hand side. Totti Gomez into the area, fired out of play by Oro Mangala for a throw to Wolves 10 yards from the corner flag on this near side to us. The Wolves left as they attack the Stan Cullis in this first half. Blackpool 1, Carlisle 0 in League 1. Andrew Lyons for the Seasiders. Totti Gomez needs an option for the throw. And down it goes to Hwang, right at the dead ball line, faced up by Bolly. Elects not to cross it, gives it back to Totti Gomez. First time ball in, headed up in the air, somewhat nervously by Niakate. Hwang goes up with the header. Angle was tight, and it went over the roof of the net, just kissing the netting on the roof of the net, and goes behind for a Nottingham Forest goal kick. 25 minutes gone on Talksport 2, your home of Saturday afternoon Premier League commentaries, and Forest lead Wolves by 1-0.
We said that was a strange header from Niakate. Looked like he had a crash helmet on, Danson. He just come out completely the wrong angle, and then Hwang Hee-Chang, the ball dropped to him. I actually think he chose wrong option there, because he should be heading the ball back across goal. He's tried to go into Matt Turner's near post, and in the end, you said there, it just landed on the top of the net. And I'm just looking at Gary O'Neill. He's gone back into the dugout. Nope, he's come back out of the dugout.
Yeah, I wouldn't sort of claim where he's gone, because
he's very, very frustrated.
5 seconds can change Gary O'Neill's demeanour. Steve Cooper has pretty much kept his counsel with his arms folded at the edge of his technical area. Minimal celebration when Toffolo put Forest ahead. Said he was embarrassed by the fact that Forest fans were singing his name in support of him after that 5-0 defeat at Fulham on Wednesday.
I thought you'd say he was embarrassed by Mikel Arteta's celebration after Declan Rice was winner. Wouldn't it be great to see Steve Cooper do a knee slide if Forest get the second goal?
The first one I remember was Mourinho when he was Porto manager at Old Trafford in his lovely suit. Now here's Wolves coming forward with Mario Lemina towards the right-hand corner of the box. Tries to play a 1-2. Joao Gomez keeps it alive for Wolves. It's worked back to Semedo, midway point of the half. Joao Gomez takes over. Out to the right-hand side. Sarabia thought about a cross. Kilman's out there too. Rangers have turned it around in Scotland. Rangers 2, Dundee 1. James Tavernier and Peterborough lead Oxford in League 1. That's 5th against 3rd. Hector Cipriano puts the posh ahead, and Wolves have won a free kick. But they're a goal down to Forest here. Perry Groves.
Do you want my inane stat of the day?
Oh, I love an inane stat. Well,
that means
I'll be the judge of whether it's inane or not.
Peterborough have scored in the last 16 League 1 games on the trot.
That's not inane. That's good. That's good knowledge.
Actually, I'll have to start lowering my standards, I think, won't I?
Yeah. I can't call those inane stats. That's perfectly feasible.
I've got a Beezer inane stat for League 2.
I'll
have to wait to the relevant teams.
The appropriate moment. Fair enough. Joao Gomez with a free kick for Wolves then. They trail by 1-0 here on Talksport 2. Forest defending their edge of the 18-yard box. It's teased up to the far side by Joao Gomez. Volleyed away by Mangala. Semedo's got all the time in the world to retrieve it. Sends it down the right-hand side. Hwang tries to fire the ball in from the right-hand side. It's cleared away by Forest, and now Gibbs White is giving chase, but Semedo is just as quick, if not quicker, and gets there first, but then loses out. Slips over and Gibbs White takes over. Gibbs White has got options left and right. 10 yards from the edge of the penalty area. Plays it out left to the goal scorer Toffolo. He in turn lays it off to Kouyaté. Now Niakate back out to Toffolo left hand side. Only Elanga in the box waiting for a cross for Nottingham Forest. Now he's been joined by a couple of others. In it comes, looking for Elanga, headed out by Totti Gomez. But a Forest player will be on the scene first to tidy up. In this case it's Bolly on this near side. Skips away from Cunha, plays the ball in field, but it bobbles away from Anthony Elanga. Kilman almost got the ball stuck under his feet there, but retrieved his composure quickly and worked it back to his keeper Jose Sarr. Northampton 1, Fleetwood 0 in League One. Mitch Pinnock puts Northampton ahead at Sixfields. 29 minutes gone, 1-0 Forest.
There's a great chance here from...
Well, we'll break off for a minute as Hwang is heading down the left-hand side and Murillo puts it behind. It's another corner kick. Their second of the game for Wolverhampton Wanderers, but they trail Forest by a goal to 0.
Yeah, I just going to mention that's a great chance for Morgan Gibbs-White earlier, because he said Nelson Semedo actually won the foot race, but he fell over. Morgan Gibbs-White had him 1v1, a little bit more belief, and he takes him on, then he's in on goal. Then Nottingham Forest give the ball away from Willy Bolly cheaply, and then within nanoseconds the corner for Wolverhampton Wanderers over on their left-hand side.
Yeah, where the Stan Cullis stand meets the Billy Wright. Played in short to Hwang, given back to the left-hand corner of the box. Joao Gomez deep to the far post, headed back across the 6-yard line. Dawson trying to make a nuisance of himself. It's sent goalwards and well saved by Matt Turner. The attempt came in from the right-hand corner of the penalty area. Dawson just holding the ball up. Matthias Cunha wrapped his left foot round it. Not sure it was bending enough to go in, but Turner couldn't be certain and made a decent save. 1-0 Forest.
Yeah, it was the right idea from Matthias Cunha there, just with his instep with his left foot as he gets the allow from Craig Dawson, just trying to bend it inside Matt Turner's right-hand post, but he didn't get enough power on the ball. In the end, it was a simple save from Matt Turner. We just played over half an hour, and that was the first save that the Nottingham Forest goalkeepers had to make.
Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Half an hour played on Talksport 2. In the West Country Derby in League 1, Cheltenham lead at Bristol Rovers. Will Goodwin getting the opening goal at the Mem. Lamina making tracks down the right-hand side for Wolves, being held up by Niakate. Does well, holds the ball off and works it back to Kilman, just over the halfway line. Steps away from Gibbs-White. Plays it out to the right-hand side for Lamina. Again, Gary O'Neill, absolute jack in the box down beneath us. Screaming, exhorting at his players. They're not doing what he wishes at the moment, I sense, Wolves players. And you can probably hear through our effects microphones, it's just a little tense here.
A little bit of frustration.
Yeah.
I think the frustration with VAR from the Wolves fans has now just been transmitted onto the Wolves players at the moment. It's not for lack of effort. At the moment, it's for lack of creativity and that little spark that they're missing.
Lamina steers it out to the Wolves' right, and Semedo gives it back to Mario Lamina, approaching the right-hand corner of the box. Slides it down the right side. Sarabia finds Cunha. Lovely equaliser. Lovely goal from Wolves to draw level. Semenyo involved. Sarabia pulling it back for Matthias Cunha to get his 5th Premier League goal of the season and bring Wolves level against Forest, just when you could feel the tension starting to ratchet up a little bit at Molineux. Wolves equalise, and Steve Cooper didn't hold the lead for too long. It's 1-1.
Dance, we mentioned that little bit lack of creativity. It's Matthias Cunha actually starting the move, picking the ball up deep, just put it into Lamina, and then it comes out to Semedo, back to Lamina. It's a great little run from Sarabia from the centre of the pitch out to that inside right position. He makes sure that he's got an awareness about him, and then he just has a little look over his left shoulder, cuts the ball back to Matthias Cunha. Really good finish from Cunha with his right foot. That was the first time that Wolves actually moved the ball very quickly. Every player made the right decision at the right time. Again, a fantastic team goal from Wolverhampton Wanderers this time to put them back in it at 1-1.
Even VAR can't take that one away from Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Oh, they'll have a look at it. If you was the VAR, you'd be just doing it just to wind the Wolves fans up.
1-1 then on Talksport 2, and a roar goes up as play restarts. Wolves fans looking to see if they can give their players a second wind in this first half. Northampton 2, Fleetwood 0. Second for the Cobblers, Sam Hoskins. That's his 12th of the season, scoring from the penalty spot for Northampton to double their lead. Here's Hugo Bueno, just shy of the halfway line for Wolves, on this near side, the left. At one apiece now. Back for Totti Gomez and further infield to Craig Dawson. Now Kilman up to the halfway line. Sarabia comes short, tried to feed it down the right-hand side for what was a lovely run from Lamina, but it was well intercepted by Forrest and goes out for a throw, 1-1.
It's been a bit of a strange game, Dantrill, isn't it? Because there hasn't been a lot of free-flowing passing moves, but both goals from both teams have been absolutely beautifully crafted. You know, good passing moves, good cross from Nico Williams for Toffolo's header, and then from Wolverhampton Wanderers' point of view, just brilliantly crafted from Cunha to Semedo to Lamina. Great little run from Sarabia, and he made sure that he got his ring mirrors on his left shoulder and cut it back for Cunha. So the two goals don't actually go with the flow of the game.
And incidentally, after that goal was scored, Chet Kouyaté was given a yellow card for dissent to referee Sam Barrett. 1-1 the score on Talksport 2. Wolves have it, level with the area, left-hand side with Hugo Bueno, tries to whip a crossing, comes off Nico Williams and out for a throw. Notts County 1, Walsall 0. Aidan Baldwin at Meadow Lane. And another throw for Wolves, one quickly, and Totti Gomez slings it back into the path of Craig Dawson. Lamina at the edge of the centre circle, plays it just to his right-hand side, and Sarabia. Cunha making a run into the area, but he's not being used. Instead, it's been floated out to the inside left channel for Totti Gomez. Stationed out on the left-hand touchline now is Hugo Bueno receiving the ball. Steps away from Williams, plays it back to Lamina 30 yards out. He's been closed down by Elanga, so he couldn't get the shot away. And Lamina passes square instead for Kilman. Kilman, early ball out to the right-hand side for Nelson Semedo. Now infield it goes for Lamina. Cunha coming rather deep now for Wolves to pick up possession. Plays the ball into the path of a teammate. Cunha gets it back, and the offside flag will now go up against Pablo Sarabia, who did look like he was coming back from an offside position. It is currently Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Nottingham Forest 1. And for the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Wolves to win at 11-10, Forest to win at 7-2, the draw priced at 6-4. That's all thanks to William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. It is 18 plus. Please be gambleaware.org. Use that website. Rangers 3, Dundee 1. They're 1-0 down there, Rangers, but Abdullah Sima makes it 3-1 at Ibrox. 1-1 here at Molineux. Forest trying to win the ball back in the centre circle, but Murillo dispossessed by Joao Gomez, and now Sarabia making tracks toward the Forest area, plays it into the edge of the box. Hugo Bueno takes two touches, and the shot is blocked by Nico Williams. Gets it back though, left-hand side, Hugo Bueno. Williams still sticking with him. Tries to play the ball inside, but Yates is covering to help out his teammate and chips it very neatly down this near side for Gibbs White, who brings it into Wolves territory, hits it against Dawson and wins a throw for Nottingham Forest. 1-1.
Yeah, Hugo Bueno's got to get the ball out of his feet there. It's a really good play from Sarabia, again in that inside right channel, and then just cuts the ball across the 18-yard box to Hugo Bueno, and he just gets the ball stuck underneath his feet. If he gets it out of his feet, he gets his shot away with his left foot a lot quicker than he did. That enabled Nico Williams to come and close him down. Then Nottingham Forest trying to hit Wolves on the counter-attack. Morgan Gibbs White's just got to make sure that he overhits the ball past Craig Dawson.
Long throw into the Wolves box, but it will bounce very comfortably through for Jose Sarr. Peterborough 2, Oxford 0 in League 1. Ricky J. Jones gets Peterborough second of the afternoon. And Derby County just one defeat in 8, lead by a goal to nil at Leyton Orient, who themselves haven't won in 6. Louis Sibley with a goal for the Rams. Here's Cunha for Wolves, trying to play Sarabia in over the top. Brings it down well on his left foot. Huang's moving ominously up towards the edge of the area to his right, but he plays it to his right instead for Nelson Semedo. Cuts in on his left foot, goes for goal. It's only just over the crossbar. I think Matt Turner had it covered. Worth a shy from Nelson Semedo coming in on his weaker left foot, but his stride goes over. It's a goal kick. It's still 1-1 on Talksport 2, 7 to half time.
Yeah, Semedo just got himself underneath the ball, but Sarabia is just starting to call Nottingham Forest back three a little bit of problems, because it was Cunha who dropped deep there, coming back into left back position, and Sarabia's made that run from the right hand side over to the left, great diagonal run, and he pulled the ball down beautifully, danced into out of the air just like he had carpet slippers on. Just as it dropped over his shoulder, just rolled it out to Semedo, and Semedo just gets himself underneath the ball. Matt Turner watch it goes harmlessly over his crossbar.
I must try that experiment, getting footballers to try controlling a football with carpet slippers on. Middlesbrough 0, Ipswich 1. Ipswich lead at the Riverside through Connor Chaplin. That's his 8th of the season. So the top two in the Championship both winning. Wins earlier today for Leeds United and Sunderland. You heard Leeds win at Blackburn. Live on Talksport 2, Sunderland beating West Brom by 2-1. And in the WSL, Manchester City's women beat Aston Villa by 2-1. Just a lull in the atmosphere here for a moment as Wolves slow the game down for a moment. Lamina on halfway, plays it to the right-hand side. Kilman tries to roll it into the feet of Kwang at the edge of the area, but Niakate just puts his foot through it and clears it downfield. Barnsley equalise at Reading. That's 1-1. No clean sheet in 12 now for Reading as Herbie Kane equalises from the penalty spot for Barnsley. 1-1 here as well. Here's Hugo Bueno playing the ball in field to Totti Gomez for Wolves. Bueno again up against Nico Williams. No room for him to move past. So back it goes to Craig Dawson. And Wolves will spread play from left to right. Kilman, 10 yards inside the Forest half of the field, supported by Cunha.
Yeah, Wolves are just starting to cause Forest a few problems now, because Cunha and Sarabia, they've got the licence to interchange. Their movement's very, very good. Sarabia is really good because he drops a little bit deep, then he goes long, then he comes into the inside left position.
Ilanga getting away down the left-hand side. He's gone down under pressure from Craig Dawson. The referee says no free kick, and Morgan Gibbs-White was free through the centre, but Ilanga didn't get his head up and see where his teammate was. Otherwise, Gibbs-White could have had a clear run on goal for Forest. 1-1.
As you said there, Ilanga's got to get his head up from his shoelaces, because Morgan Gibbs-White was in acres of space inside him. In the end, he runs into Cunha. Sam Bout, the referee, just says no, it's just to come in together, play on. I just mentioned, Dance, about Wolves, their front three. Hwang Hee-chan just stays central, and Cunha and Sarabia, they're the ones that just sort of drift around him. And the movement in the last 10 minutes has been very, very good.
It has. Ball's out of play for a throw to Wolverhampton Wanderers. 1-1 here. We've got 4 minutes left to play. And here's Sarabia out to the right-hand side, and Semedo. Infield for Lamina. Now a lovely run by Semedo down the right-hand side of the box, in behind Toffolo, plays it across the face of goal, and it's turned behind by Murillo for another Wolves corner towards the end of the half. 1-1.
Yeah, as Nelson Semedo on the underlap this time. Lamina just playing him in, and as Semedo looked up, there was nobody in the 18-yard box central for Wolves, because Hwang Hee-chan had come short, but Semedo just tried to put his cross in, got blocked at the near post. Corner for Wolves over on their right-hand side.
Sarabia to take. Clutch of players around the penalty spot. In it goes to the near post. Well controlled by Cunha. Back out to the left-hand side. Whipped in first time. Headed out by Nico Williams, but Hugo Bueno there to tidy up for Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's back with Semedo on halfway. Plays the ball to his right for Joao Gomez. Sarabia out on that right-hand touchline. Floats the left-footed ball in. Looking for Totti Gomez, but it's overhit and behind for a goal kick. You're listening to Wolves 1, Nottingham Forest 1 on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, they've got a van. Wycombe Wanderers 0, Shrewsbury 1 in League 1. Taylor Perry, and sorry Perry, Colchester 0, Crawley 1.
Offside.
Liam Kelly.
If you've got a plan with a van, have they got a man that goes with a plan with a van?
That presumably is the man or woman that hires the van. I'm not an expert. There's a Forest player down receiving treatment. I think it's Niakate that might be getting a bit of treatment. So players who come to this near touchline. A reminder then that the ODI cricket follows straight after this game on Talksport 2. Joining our team, including those out in the West Indies, for ball-by-ball exclusive commentary. It's one apiece after the first 2 ODIs between England and the West Indies. And England's women in the match against India need 20 runs to win from 12 overs, just over, and they've still got 7 wickets in hand. They bowled India out for 80, 61 for 3, England's women, in the 8th over of that T20 international. So what have you made of this opening 43 minutes, Perry? We're heading towards half-time. There'll be a bit to add on here at 1-1.
It's been interesting, Dan, hasn't it? Because we know that Nottingham Forest got a really poor away record since they've been promoted. We mentioned before only 2 wins in 27, but they started off and they looked very, very, very well structured, didn't they? And very well set up. Just out of possession, going to 5-4-1. We mentioned about Morgan Gibbs-White picking up Joe Gomez, the Wolverhampton's midfield player, to stop Wolves getting their passing movements going. So the first sort of 10-15 minutes, Steve Cooper was absolutely delighted, and then even more delighted when they went 1-0 in front, because neither team could get their passing moves going. But Nottingham Forest constructed their first decent passing move, where Gibbs-White obviously got the ball, come into Kouate, out to Nico Williams on the right-hand side, brilliant cross, and the other wing-back from the left-hand side, Toffolo, towering header, gave Jose so absolutely no chance, and put Nottingham Forest 1-0 up. And at that particular time, Dan, they looked quite comfortable.
It's Chet Kouate that actually was having treatment. He's back on his feet, just holding his face as he walks toward this near touchline. Incidentally, Burnley have taken the lead at Brighton. Wilson Odobert pushing the Clarets ahead, and that might worry a few Forest fans opposite us in the Steve Bull stand, because they don't want teams like Burnley and Luton and Sheffield United start to eat into that cushion of points that Forest have got over those in the bottom 3. So we're into 6 minutes of minimum stoppage time at the end of this first half. It's Wolves 1, Nottingham Forest 1 on Talksport 2. And a throw to Wolves, left-hand side. Lovely drop of the shoulder from Hwang, but then he ran into Bolly. It's flicked clear up to halfway by Forest, but comfortably brought down by Craig Dawson. And out to the right-hand side. There's going to be a change for Forest. Dandelo's going to have to come on. Maybe Kouate's, who's back out there, may not be able to complete the 90. So a change just prior to half-time incoming for Steve Cooper and Nottingham Forest at 1-1. Here's Nico Williams, whose cross led to the opener. Plays the ball up to halfway. Good strong header from Toti Gomez for Wolves. Heavy touch from Mangala. Almost won back by Sarabia. Just thumped up high into the Molineux sky by Murillo. And then brought down by Lamina for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Kilman halfway. Right on the centre spot. Options left and right. Plays it to his immediate right and Semedo. Further out to the right-hand touchline and Lamina. Now Kilman has it once again for Wolves. Toti Gomez finds Sarabia. They spread play again to the left-hand side. Sarabia fouled by Yates. Free kick. Steve Cooper's incensed by that decision from Sam Barrett. Danilo was stripped and ready to come on. He's put a high-vis bib back on.
Yeah, I think what they've said to Danilo is just they've given Chet Kouate sort of 5 minutes just to see, you know, if his movement's okay. And when he come back on, Dance, he made a storming run of about 30-40 yards down the right-hand side, and I say he didn't look injured. So maybe they're just going to keep their powder dry for the next sort of 6 minutes till half-time.
Sarabia drives the free kick in, or Dawson just helps it on his way rather than heading it back across goal. And it just drifts out for a Forest throw. Now, Sheffield United, another of those teams beneath Forest in the table, they just taken the lead at home to Brentford. James McAtee making it Sheffield United 1, Brentford 0. So Sheffield United and Burnley both winning. Forest getting a point here, so as things stand, Forest would be only 4 points clear of the dotted line. Goal kick downfield for Forest, flicked on by Yates. Gibbs-White and Elanga trying to combine. Good strength from Ryan Yates down the inside right channel, and then the ball's hit against Nico Williams. It will drift out for a throw to Wolves in their left back position, taken quickly by Totti Gomez. And Gibbs White steps in and concedes another throw. We've played 3 minutes of the minimum 6 that have been added on by Sam Barrett in this first half at Molineux.
Yes, Steve Cooper will want to make sure that he's Nottingham Forest team try and keep Wolverhampton Wanderers in their own half. Obviously got the throw-in in the left back position.
Swing and a miss from Willie Bolly, almost allowed Wolves to scamper forward, but Maria tidied up. And now it's played out to this near side, but straight into the arms of the waiting Gary O'Neill inside his technical area. 1-1.
You said there about the swing and a miss from Willie Bolly. It makes me laugh when the modern day player.
All given away at the edge of the area, and Kouyaté drives it against Jose Sarr. Brilliant save by the Wolves keeper. Suddenly Forest were in after a ricochet. Check Kouyaté on his own. Hit it low and hard, but it was well blocked by Jose Sarr and stays 1-1.
Dante has to score. It comes to Kilman. He just dawdles on the ball. Check. Kouyaté picks his pocket and he's 1v1 with Jose Sarr. And he's just got to make sure Dante takes another touch, gets a bit closer to Jose Sarr, and he can dink it over him. He's taken it early. It's a decent save from Jose Sarr with his right foot, but check. Kouyaté has got to score.
But he hasn't. It's 1-1 still. As we approach 5 minutes gone of the 6 being added on. Long throw for Forest into the Wolves box. Niakate looks for Kouyaté, hooked away by Kilman. Where's he going to drop? Drops left hand side of the box. Forest trying to win it back. Niakate's there again, tries to recycle the ball back into the box. Out of play for another throw. It's going to be another long Moussa Niakate throw into the Wolves danger area. 1-1.
They said there, they just load it into the box. Kouyaté will just try and see if he can launch it onto Willie Bolly's head to get the flick on and then get the knockdowns.
In it comes from Niakate into the near post, headed out by Totti Gomez, brought down by Murillo inside the box with his back to goal, trying to twist and turn and make room for a shot. Mangala takes over, elects to play it back 10 yards or so to Niakate. Now a ball diagonally hit to the edge of the area. Alanga heads it across the face of goal. Kouyaté was being buffeted and held up by Totti Gomez. Nothing wrong with that, says the referee. And Wolves try and bring the ball clear as we edge towards half-time. 1-1 the score on Talksport 2. One last chance maybe for Wolves to have a say on the half-time scoreline. Joao Gomez just over the halfway line. Semedo making a run down the right-hand side, not used. Instead it's gone infield to the centre circle of Mario Lamina. And the referee now elects to blow the whistle for half-time. It is all square at Molineux. Steve Cooper was delighted to see his team go ahead. Andy Reid just having a word with the fourth official as the teams go off, and Steve Cooper actually urging Andy Reid, don't get too involved. But Forest had the lead early in the piece. The two wing-backs combining for Forest. Nico Williams with a lovely dink cross from the right. Harry Toffolo coming in on the left for his first Nottingham Forest goal. In off the underside of the crossbar with Sarr beaten. But just as Molineux was starting to get a bit tetchy, Wolves equalised through Matthias Cunha. Lovely build-up play between him and Lamina and Semedo. The ball stroked home beautifully by Cunha for his 5th Premier League goal of the season, and that's the way we have it at half-time. Will Forest be happy with the point? Will Evangelos Marinakis be happy with a point? At the break, Wolves 1, Nottingham Forest 1.
The voice of Ian Danta there alongside former Arsenal winger Perry Groves as we watch Cheick Kouyaté walking off very, very gingerly there. And we'll start actually with that last moment there. I mean, if that had been VAR, check that little bit of manhandling Kouyaté in the box there. I think Gary O'Neill might have run down the length of the pitch like Jose Mourinho, but without the knee slide.
No, it's just a very good defensive play from Totti Gomez. He said there, Kouyaté thought he was going to get the wrong side of him. He just stood his ground. So there's no need for VAR to get involved. And you have to say it's been a really interesting first half, John, isn't it? Obviously, you're a Nottingham Forest fan. You must have been delighted.
I'm an impartial Nottingham Forest fan today, Perry.
Take your scarf off and your bobble hat off, then we'll be all right. Nottingham Forest fans would be delighted of the way that Nottingham Forest started, because we said before the game how many goals they'd leaked, since they've been promoted, 62 goals. And for the first 15-20 minutes, their team shape was very good. They looked very structured, and they took the lead with a fantastic goal.
It's the formation that Nottingham Forest used when they got promoted from the Championship, the 3 central defenders with the 2 wing-backs, and that kind of gave them the width for Nico Williams to get that tiny bit of space, and we know what he can do. He can actually put a good cross into the box. One of my frustrations with this game already with Forest is they've had a couple of opportunities where they could potentially get a cross in, but they haven't started Divock Origi, they haven't started Chris Wood. Obviously, Taiwo Awoniyi's not fit, he's out for a fair amount of time, so they haven't had anyone in the box to put that higher ball into, and it's strange that it's Harry Toffolo that's managed to get above the defender and get that header in. So I think the positive thing for Forest is that they did keep that shape, and they did frustrate Wolves, but as soon as the frustration kind of got to its peak, that's when the goal came for Wolves. And Forest are notorious for going ahead and then defending, and this is the frustration with the Forest fans. Why are they defending when they get an early lead? When Forest were coming up through the Championship, and certainly at the start of last season in the Premier League, before they maybe tightened things up, they were a little bit more attacking when they did get an early goal. It just seems to be a thing that's happened for Forest for a very long time. They seem to just revert to defence mode when perhaps getting a second goal might be a good shout. Yeah, but I think what happens is, because obviously results haven't been going very well, then you lack that little bit of confidence. And the team shape you said there was excellent. They went to like a 5-4-1. What they did very well was Morgan Gibbs-White just come off of Anthony Elanga to make sure that he picked up João Gomez, because João Gomez is the midfield player for Wolves who likes to get on the ball and get their passing moves going. So they looked very well structured, and you said the goal was excellent. Nico Williams getting his cross in from the right hand side. Hugo Bueno actually dropped off. That allowed Williams to get his cross in, and Harry Toffolo coming from that left hand side. It was a towering header, got himself above Nelson Semedo at the far post, gave Jose Sa absolutely no chance. And then for that next sort of 10-minute period, Forest looked quite comfortable. You could hear the restlessness coming in with Wolverhampton Wanderers fans, because it looked a little bit clunky, they weren't free flowing. But then Sarabia then just started to get himself into the game, drifting just off of Wang Hee-Chang. It was his brilliant cutback where he just went onto a through pass from Lemina, and he's just cut it back, looked over his left shoulder, and Cunha's completely unmarked 10 yards out, just a side foot with his right foot past Matt Turner, and put obviously Wolves back level at 1-1. So there's still a lot of jeopardy left in this game, because if Nottingham Forest can be a little bit better in their counter-attacking, they've got the pace up front with Morgan Gibbs-White and Elanga, and there's good movement from Sarabia and Cunha behind Wang Hee-Chang, so there's going to be more goals in the second half. It does set it up for a great second half. It's amazing also what a player warming up without his long trousers on and without his bib on does for players like Czech Kouyaté, who suddenly turned into a bit of a demon there, and perhaps should have given Forest a 2-1 lead at half-time. We'll talk more about this game in just a second, but now let's take a look at the late game in the Premier League with Now.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport 2 with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Aston Villa vs Arsenal live today for $11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports, 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
Well, it's a big one in the Premier League, isn't it? And it's, two title contenders, and we weren't expecting to say that Aston Villa were title contenders, but their home form has been absolutely impeccable under Unai Emery. They welcome Arsenal at the 5:30pm kickoff. Adam Bridge is there to bring us regular updates on Talksport this afternoon. Afternoon, Adam, you must be excited for this one, because it's a top-of-the-table clash with a team that aren't normally near the top of the table.
Yeah, it promises to be a real cracker here, doesn't it, John? I mean, it's a windy afternoon, as you'll know, being in the West Midlands yourselves. You're not allowed to use the word title contender around Aston Villa, though, if you're anywhere near Unai Emery. He still insists there are 7 or 8 teams better than his Aston Villa side. But you're right, the home record speaks for itself. 24 goals they've scored here. They've obviously won their last 14 home games in a row, 7 of those this season. That's a record that goes back to 1930, the last time they managed to win 14 in a row. There's very few in Premier League history who've managed to win more than 14. I think it's Liverpool with 24. That's the most. However, today you've got Arsenal, who've got the best away record in the Premier League coming here. They've only conceded 6 goals on the road, and 3 of those were midweek against Luton. So if Villa can turn in the kind of performance they did against Manchester City on Wednesday night, and that's a big ask because they were outstanding. For all of City's faults, they weren't allowed to play by an Aston Villa side who was supreme on the evening. And Arsenal, well, they just about got past Luton, didn't they? So this promises to be a real cracker.
I'm sure Unai Emery's done some very meticulous planning, as always. We also have the added spice of Unai Emery being the former Arsenal manager with them visiting today. So that's going to make it even more well, even more exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. Obviously as well, Mikel Arteta, who's got his own goalkeeping issues, sold Emi Martinez, who the Villa fans quite merrily sing throughout the game is the world's #1 goalkeeper. So again, there's a little more added spice, and we're looking today, and we could see Saka make his 150th Premier League appearance. He was a player, of course, who got his first appearance when Unai Emery was in charge at Arsenal. And actually, when you look back at the record from Unai's time at Arsenal, it ain't half bad, It was just, I think, probably wrong guy at the wrong time, maybe, for Arsenal. But the work he's done here, I mean, it is truly outstanding. When you consider 40 Premier League games, he's won 30 of them. I mean, his record is outstanding. And this Villa side, he's taken some players who at times were struggling under the leadership of Steven Gerrard. Because in essence, most of the 11, maybe 9 or so of the 11, are the same players that were here under Steven Gerrard, and he's turned them into a formidable unit.
He is indeed working wonders. That's Adam Bridge. He'll bring you regular updates in the 5:30 kickoff over on Talksport. Look ahead to the Premier League's action, of course. Don't forget, with Now you can stream all of the Sky Sports action, like Aston Villa versus Arsenal live today for £11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on Talksport 2 with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Aston Villa versus Arsenal live today for £11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports. 18+. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Well, as it gets darker in the skies around Molineux here at Wolverhampton, half of the pitch is getting a heavy watering. That'll be the half of the pitch that Wolves are attacking in the second half. We'll bring you full second half commentary here from Molineux. It's half-time. Wolves 1, Nottingham Forest 1 on Talksport 2.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the English Football League. Game day exclusive on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
Y'all ready for something new? Just eat. Oh, you thought it was just burgers and fries. They got more flavors than you tasted or you heard in your life. Yummy. And it ain't only restaurants anymore. We can go bananas at the grocery store. I'm a bad girl, but my takeout better. What you need, dude? I could cop a taco platter. And my sushi train is on loop. When you're this slick, what you gon' do? Did somebody say just eat?
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Paddington is back in McDonald's Happy Meal. Join him in discovering all the fun of the festive season, like ice skating, pulling crackers, singing songs, and even playing games. But the best thing is, everyone can enjoy the magic with Paddington and Happy Meal. Have a very berry Christmas with Paddington. Some fun, some food, it's all inside this Happy Meal. Until 3rd of January from 11 a.m. Includes one pre-selected book or toy while stocks last. See mcdonalds.co.uk/Happy Meal for detail.
Your van heater is not the only thing that's hot right now. Screwfix hot deals are on and you can save big. Buy any Flowmaster single panel radiator and get the Danfoss TRV for just $9.99, saving you £15. Plus, everyone loves a Henry vacuum, and the XL is now just $149.99. That's a saving of £20. Shop hot deals now on the app at screwfix.com or in store. Price is valid until at least 7th of January, subject to availability. For full T's and C's, see screwfix.com.
With the fixtures piling up as Christmas fast approaches, get the ultimate football coverage from the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals. Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday only in the Sun.
Game day exclusive on Talksport 2 with Now. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Aston Villa versus Arsenal live today for $11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports, 18+, stream via internet, terms apply.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the EFL.
Feel the passion and the pride of the Premier League.
Oh, It's a stunning goal.
Game day exclusive
on Talksport 2.
This is Game Day exclusive on Talksport 2. I'm John Jackson here at Molineux. Let's get your half-time classified scores.
This is Game Day.
Half-time classifieds. Premier League.
The early results in the Premier League. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. Half-time, Brighton 0, Burnley 1. Manchester United 0, Bournemouth 1 at half-time at Old Trafford. Sheffield United 1-0 up against Brentford here at Molineux. It's Wolves 1, Nottingham Forest 1, and Aston Villa take on Arsenal at 5:30.
Sky Bet Championship.
Early results, Blackburn Rovers 0, Leeds United 2, live here on Talksport 2 earlier. Sunderland 2, West Bromwich Albion 1 is the other result. At half-time it's Cardiff 0, Millwall 2, Huddersfield 1, Bristol City 0, Leicester City 1, Plymouth Argyle 0, Middlesbrough 0, Ipswich Town 1. It's goalless between Norwich City and Preston North End. QPR are 1-0 up at home to Hull City at half-time. Rotherham United at home to Swansea City. They're 1-0 down, and it's goalless between Stoke City and Sheffield Wednesday, and Watford and Southampton.
Sky Bet League 1.
Blackpool 1, Carlisle United 0, Bristol Rovers 0, Cheltenham Town 1. It's 1-1 at half-time between Burton Albion and Stevenage, while Charlton Athletic and Cambridge United, it's goalless. Exeter City 0, Port Vale 1 at half-time, Leyton Orient 0, Derby County 1 at half-time. Northampton Town are 2-0 up against Fleetwood. Peterborough United also 2-0 up against Oxford United. It's 1-1 between Reading and Barnsley. Goalless between Wigan Athletic and Lincoln City, and Wycombe Wanderers are 1-0 down at home to Shrewsbury.
Sky Bet League 2.
AFC Wimbledon 1, Swindon Town 0. Accrington Stanley versus Doncaster Rovers is 0-0 at half-time. Colchester United 0, Crawley Town 1. Grimsby Town 2, Crewe Alexander 0. It's goalless between Morecambe and Stockport. Notts County are 1-0 up against Walsall, and Tranmere are 1-0 down at home to Newport County.
The Scottish Premiership.
Aberdeen 0, Hearts 1, it's Livingston 0, Hibernian 1, also at half-time there. Goalless at half-time between Motherwell and St Johnstone, while Rangers are 3-1 up at home to Dundee at half-time, and it's St Mirren 0, Ross County 0. We're here at Molineux. It's currently Wolves 1, Nottingham Forest 1 at half-time. I've got Ian Danter and former Arsenal winger Perry Groves alongside me in the commentary box here. It's getting a little bit colder now. We've got a nice pink tinge in the sky as the light fades away, and the teams come out for the second half. Very quickly, Perry, what are Wolves going to need to do in this second half? It felt like they had the momentum, aside from that Nottingham Forest late chance for Chiarte.
Yeah, I think what happens with Wolves is that they're a counter-attacking team, so when they're playing against teams who come onto them and try and close them down, then they've got the pace up front of Wang Hee-Chang, Cunha and Sarabia to hit teams on the counter-attack. When teams come and sit deep against them, I think sometimes they struggle to break them down. And I mentioned about Sarabia, who's just floating in behind Wang Hee-Chang. Cunha's giving that sort of threat in behind with his pace, so I think they've got to try and look to get Sarabia on the ball a little bit more, because he's the one who's looked like that he's got that little bit of creativity. From Nottingham Forest point of view, I think he's got a little bit braver when they're in possession, and a couple of times Morgan Gibbs-White and Anthony Langer have had good chances to hit Wolves on the counter-attack, and they've just picked the wrong option basically, so they've just got to make sure they pick better options.
Okay, right, second half's just got underway. Your commentary team, Perry Groves, the voice you just heard alongside Ian Danter.
Thank you, John. No changes at half-time. We suspected that Danilo might come on at the switch around. He was warming up at the end of the first half. He's still got a high-vis bib on over his Forest shirt, but it's still the same starting 11s out there. I'll go through the lineups in a minute. Wolves in their old gold and black are attacking the Jack Hayward stand to our right in this second half, and they're coming forward immediately in this first minute of the restart through Nelson Semedo, right in front of our commentary position here. Back it goes to halfway, and Max Kilman. It is Sarr in goal for Wolves, Kilman, Dawson, Totti Gomez, Semedo, Lamina, Joao Gomez and Hugo Bueno, because there is another Bueno on the bench. Hwang, Cunha and Sarabia up front. For Forest, Turnett in goal, Bolly, Murillo, Niakate, Williams, Mangala, Yates, Kuyate, Toffolo, Gibbs-White and Ilanga. And the ball's back with Mateus Cunha, who equalised for Wolves during the first half. Out to the left-hand side, Hugo Bueno. Given back to Cunha. who's trying to direct operations. Got Bueno on his outside, who's offside, says the assistant on this near side, so Forest will get a free kick, 1-1.
I think the Wolves manager, Gary O'Neill, is going to start headbutting the dugout, because that is a cardinal sin when you're caught offside. Hugo Bueno is on the far left from us, Dance. He's looking right across the line, and he's a yard offside. And a manager, absolutely, you tear your hair up, because you think you've had that good switch of play from the right-hand side from Semedo over, obviously, to the left. And then that's just laziness there from Hugo Bueno.
Bristol City equalise against Huddersfield Town at the John Smith. Tommy Conway makes it 1-1 early in the second half up there in West Yorkshire. 1-1 here as well. Ball's back with Matt Turner, the American goalkeeper, preferred to Vlachodimos by Steve Cooper, who made 7 changes from the defeat at Fulham, remember, for this game. Another one of those changes, Kouyaté making a run down the inside left channel, and a very calm piece of goalkeeping by Jose Sarr excuse me, to keep the ball away from Anthony Elanga.
If Anthony Elanga could just slowed himself down a little bit there, because Jose Sarr, Max Kilman put him in a little bit of trouble. To be fair to Jose Sarr, he did well to come back inside Anthony Elanga. Let's say, if Anthony Elanga slows himself down, then he could nick the ball for Jose Sarr.
Free kick to Nottingham Forest. And Cunha's gone down awkwardly off the ball, and the physios are being asked by Forest players to come on and attend to Cunha, but I think he's going to get back to his feet. Meantime, Leicester have doubled their lead at home to Plymouth in the Championship. Patson Daka making it Leicester 2, Plymouth 0. And Stevenage had turned it around in League One at Burton Albion. Jamie Reid, with his 13th of the season, scores a penalty to make it Burton 1, Stevenage 2.
Yeah, I think they're Nottingham Forest players. They weren't really worried about Cunha's welfare. They just wanted him to get him off the pitch. So obviously the Wolves were man down.
Of course, housery has many forms. Free kick for Forest. Swung downfield looking for Bolly, who's furthest forward, but it was well claimed by Jose Sarr, coming out to the edge of the area. Bowls it out over arm. Brilliantly kept in play by Lamina. And he has the ball taken off his toe by Murillo. The Wolves fans around us howling for a free kick. But the referee saw nothing wrong with it. Now he does see something wrong with the challenge to give Wolves a free kick, as Murillo again is the offender. This time he is punished by Sam Barrett, and Wolves have a free kick. And it's getting a bit tetchy out there, 1-1.
It was like a scene from Platoon, isn't it? For a while, there's his bodies rolling all over the floor. To be fair, it was a really good tackle from Murillo on Lamina. He just come in from the side of him, he timed it to perfection. And again, Sam Barrett, the referee, got to say, Dance, that he's actually refereeing the game really well. He's just trying to let it flow. You know, he's not just pulling up for silly free kicks.
Sarabia sends the free kick into the box. Dawson's onside, couldn't swing and connect with the ball. It was a lovely free kick from Sarabia, lifted into the area, and Dawson had ghosted into space near the 6-yard box on the right-hand side. Ball coming over his right shoulder, just couldn't connect and sweep it goalwards, 1-1.
I think the danger that Craig Dawson had there, that he might have ruptured his knee ligaments, because he didn't need such a massive swing on that. He said it was a great little free kick in from Sarabia, just floated in. I think it was Harry Toffolo who let Craig Dawson run free, and all he's got to do, Dance, is just get his technique a little bit better, a bit tighter, and it was a swing and a miss.
1-1 the score on Talksport 2. Here's Morgan Gibbs-White, still getting the bird from the locals. Plays a square ball along the halfway line to Otto Mangala. Mangala spots Nico Williams out on the right-hand side. Yates has gone down that right-hand side as well for Forest. Forest in their change strip today of dark blue shirts with amber stripes. Wolves in the old gold and black. Balls with Moussa Niakate. Spots Toffolo, their goal scorer, on the left-hand side. Leicester 3, Plymouth 0. Steffi Mavadini makes it 2 for him, 3 for the Foxes at the King Power. Hibs 2-0 up at Livingston. Dylan Vente with a second, and St Mirren lead Ross County in the Scottish Premiership by 1-0, and Aberdeen are level with Hearts. As Forest win a corner as Nico Williams hits the ball against Hugo Bueno. I think that's Forest's first corner of the game, and it comes in the 52nd minute of the match at 1-1.
Yeah, they kept the ball quite nicely, just moving it from left to right. The ball makes its way out to Nico Williams on the right-hand side gets his cross in. He said there it was a good block by Hugo Bueno. Corner for Nottingham Forest over on their right-hand side.
To be taken by Harry Toffolo, a left-footed in-swinger into the near post. It's headed out to the edge of the box, just keeps away from Mangala. Nico Williams there first, spots Toffolo still in space out on that far side. He sweeps the left-footed ball in, helped on by Yates, drops to the far post for Elanga, hits it against the bar, and it crashes back into play, and the flag's already gone up. That may not have counted, but Anthony Elanga wasn't to know that, as the ball suddenly was presented to him 8 yards out. With Saar beaten, he crashed it against the underside of the bar and away, 1-1.
Yeah, the ball just helped back in by Harry Toffolo, gets flicked on at the near post by Ryan Yates. It comes to Anthony Elanga, and he's got to be scoring, Dance. He doesn't know that he's offside. He's just got to make sure he has a bit more composure, and he just crashes the ball against Jose Saar's crossbar, comes out, and just wonder, with a chance like that and the chance that Cheick Kouyaté missed at the end of the first half, Dance, when he's 1v1 with Jose Saar, are Nottingham Forest going to rue those missed chances?
1-1 it stays on Talksport 2. Charlton lead Cambridge in League 1. Top scorer in the division, Alfie May, makes it 15 for the season. What a capture he's been for a very small fee from Cheltenham Town, as Charlton lead at the Valley. Motherwell, Nilsson, Johnston 1 in Scotland. Motherwell no win in 12 as they sit in 9th in the table. And in that West Country derby, Jack Hunt has equalised for Bristol Rovers. That's 1-1, and it's 1-1 at Prenton Park as well. Tranmere equalised against Newport through Kieran Morris, and it's now Leicester City 4, Plymouth Argyle 0. Wilfred Ndidi getting in on the act.
That's not a great pilgrimage up there, is it, for the Plymouth fans?
Yeah, but I see them at Strensham on the way back south. They're not going to be too HP, the Plymouth fans. 4-0 to the Championship leaders then. Ipswich also winning this afternoon. Earlier wins in the Championship for Leeds United and Sunderland in the lunchtime kickoffs. You heard the Leeds win at Blackburn live here on your home of the EFL Talksport 2, where we've got Portsmouth, Bolton for you live on Monday night, the top two in League 1. Here come Forest at 1-1. Toffolo playing the ball along the deck into the area from the left-hand side. Not the most convincing clearance from Kilman. Elanga trying to make something of it. 10 yards from goal, and then Wolves say anywhere will do, and Semedo actually got good distance on the clearance, and then Hwang was caught in a sandwich between Murillo and Kouyaté, has stayed down rubbing the back of his head.
But I don't think that
play will be suspended.
I don't think that Hwang's feeling particularly good. You said there, Dan, said he went up the ball. It was a sandwich between Murillo and Cheick Kouyaté. To be fair, it was actually Murillo who took the ball, just made sure he got the head up. He came over the top of Hwang Hee-Chang, and what's happened as Hwang Hee-Chang's got on the floor, unfortunately Murillo's just landed on top of him and accidentally kneed him in the head.
Back on his feet now, Hwang, and no treatment required for the South Korean. St Mirren 2, Ross County 0 in Scotland. Was that a yellow card for Steve Cooper? I think it was. Issued by Sam Barrett. That was the cheer you heard. And Steve Cooper's had a bit too much to say to the match officials. So elsewhere in the Premier League, Burnley still 1-up at Brighton. Bournemouth still 1-up at Manchester United. And Sheffield United 1-0 up against Brentford.
Is that the manager a month and the player of the month curse at Manchester United?
You do wonder, don't you? Ball's cleared away by Kilmer. At least he tried to clear it, but good strength from Morgan Gibbs-White, but it came off him last of all, and it'll be a throw to Wolves in their right back position. Southampton lead at Watford in the Championship. Another team trying to close down the top two, and Shea Adams has given Southampton the lead at Vicarage Road.
Dan's been playing 10 minutes in the second half. I know Steve Cooper's got himself a yellow card because he wanted a foul and give Sam Barrett, the referee, too many verbals, but I think he'll be really pleased by the way his team started this second half, because he's asked them to play with a little bit more belief. They've played 10-15 yards further up the pitch, and they haven't been as passive when they've been out of possession, and Anthony Elanga actually should have put them 2-1 up.
Notts County 1, Walsall 1 in League 2. Oisin McEntee makes it all square at Meadow Lane. 1-1 here as well. If you're just tuning into Talksport 2 this Saturday afternoon in the Premier League, 56 minutes gone at Molineux. Toffolo opening the scoring for Nottingham Forest. Cunha equalising for Wolves. Both goals coming in the first half. We've played just over 11 minutes of the second period. Forest fans on the far side of the field applaud their players for their tenacious way in winning a throw-in. Bang on the halfway line for Willy Bolly to take. Close it in looking for Gibbs White, who gets a shove in the back from Totti Gomez. Joao Gomez then puts it long downfield for Wolves. Hwang's giving chase, but Niakate there first. Guides it back somewhat uncertainly to his keeper, but a good clearance from Matt Turner. Straight onto the head of Max Kilman. And then Niakate goes in strongly, loses out, and then a foul on Lemina by Kouyaté. Gives a free kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers, 1-1.
Dance that warms the cockles of the heart when the ball gets rolled back to the goalkeeper, Matt Turner from Nottingham Forest, and he just absolutely puts his foot through it and lavers it. That was a proper Avit, because he was getting closed down by Hwang Hee-Chang, and you see all the goalkeepers these days, don't you, try and drop their shoulder, go round the forward who's closing down. He was having none of it. He was like, nope, get it out of dodge lively.
Sarabia's free kick for Wolves, headed out from the edge of the box by Bolly, and there was an offside flag up against the Wolves player anyway. And we're going to see a change in a moment for Wolves. Boubacar Traoré is being readied down beneath us to come on for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Meantime, the ball's back in the Forest defensive third with their number 19 Moussa Niakate. Plays the ball backwards to square to Murillo. Now Turner, the goal kicker, gives it back to Murillo just outside his penalty area. Bolly receives it and just skips away from Cunha for a moment and chips the ball down the right-hand side, asking Rwalanga to give chase, but he'll never catch that ball up before it drifts out of play on the far side of the field.
Yeah, just too straight there from Willy Bolly, trying to release Ante Elanga on that right-hand side.
Now it's Hugo Bueno down the left-hand side for Wolves, but back came Nico Williams to slide in and put it out of play for a throw, which was taken from the wrong place, says referee Barrett.
We just looked at Gary O'Neill, who's just gone back into, obviously, the dugout, and I just put a two-fingered signal up to Matheus Cunha, so I surmise, unless he's not very happy with him, that he's going to play two up front.
He's played all right, and he scored. Don't know what much more he can do if it's that sort of two-fingered gesture. It's 1-1. You're with Talksport 2. Don't forget live cricket coming straight after this. We're off to the West Indies for the deciding ODI between West Indies and England. And our team will bring you ball-by-ball exclusive coverage after England's women beat India's women by 4 wickets in the T20 a little earlier. Semedo for Wolves with a deep ball to the far post. Williams gets a good first touch, keeps it away from Cunha, who barged him to the ground as Cunha tried to win it back, and he sinks to his knees and puts his hands to his head, does Cunha, as he sees the referee blowing for the infringement and giving it against Matheus Cunha. 1-1.
Do you know what, it was a free kick from Matheus Cunha against Nico Williams, but he should have been actually making the centre forward on the far post, because it's a brilliant ball in from Nathan Semedo on this right hand side, where he's bent it away from Matt Turner, and then someone who thinks like a centre forward dance would be on the far post, and actually Matheus Cunha was far too far out near the touchline, and that's why he ends up bringing down Nico Williams.
Colchester 0, Crawley 2. Danilo Orsi with a second penalty, and it's Mario Lemina who's been working so hard for Wolves in the first half and into this second that he's having to be withdrawn. This isn't tactical, I think. He's just carrying a knock here, Mario Lemina. He's been terrific. He comes off, and Boubacar Traoré, on loan from Metz initially last year, now a permanent signing, plays in a similar position as the defensive midfielder. He's on, and Lemina's off, and he's put a good shift in for his manager today. 1-1.
Yeah, he's because Joao Gomez was being basically man-to-man marked by Morgan Gibbs-White. It was up to Lemina to get himself on the ball. He started to get a little bit more influential after like 10-15 minutes of first half. You say there, Dance, just like for like, Boubacar Traoré will go and play in that centre midfield area next to Joao Gomez.
1-1 it is on Talksport 2. Wolves have the ball at the back, left hand side with Hugo Bueno. Can't get away from the attentions of Nico Williams. Charlton double their lead at home to Cambridge in League One. Chem Campbell making it Charlton 2, Cambridge 0. Got live boxing tomorrow night, haven't we, from Bournemouth. Our coverage starts on Talksport 2 at 6:30, and then Talksport joins in at 8 p.m. Details on that in just a moment. As Wolves come forward with Hwang Hee-chan. Oh, lovely turn from Mangala, and he beat 3 players and sets Morgan Gibbs-White away on halfway. Drifts the ball out to the right-hand side. Ilanga gives chase, gives it back to Nico Williams. Williams up to Gibbs-White, turns it down the right-hand side of the box, looking for Ilanga, but out comes Jose Sarr strongly to smother and keep the ball. It is still 1-1 on Talksport 2 as Danilo is now finally ready to come on for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, you said there, Dan, it was brilliant play from Mangala. He had a pivot and then a swivel and then a 360-degree turn, couple of drag backs, left 3 Wolverhampton Wanderers players in his wake, and then just played it into Morgan Gibbs-White, who tried to play in Antilanga on that right-hand side. And to be fair, Totti Gomez came over and just shouldered Antilanga off the ball and let the ball run out for a goal kick.
Well, Chet Kouyaté is the player that's coming off and he's just sat on his backside by the centre circle before the change is made. Yeah, a reminder that boxing tomorrow on Talksport 2 and then Talksport, Chris Billum-Smith defending his WBO World Cruiserweight title to the Polish challenger Maciej Masternak, who has fought Tony Bellew in the past, and I think it's his first ever world title shot for Masternak. On air from 6 p.m. in Bournemouth on Talksport 2, and then over to Talksport from 8:30 for the main event for some World Championship boxing on a Sunday night.
Well, it must be a good card, a good fight, because Simon Jordan's actually make his way down. Obviously he's got free tickets in the VIP area.
Of course he has.
But obviously Simon loves his boxing.
He does. He loves a pound note as well. It's 1-1 between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Nottingham Forest. So on comes Danilo to replace Kouyaté. Here's Gibbs-White for Forest. Steps away from one man. Is he caught by Joe Gomez? He is, says the referee Sam Barrett. So Forest have a free kick almost at the midway point of the Wolves half, with him attacking the Stan Cullis end away to our left-hand side. We've got 63 minutes showing on the stadium clock. Wolves 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Perry Groves.
He's worked really hard, actually, Morgan Gibbs-White for Nottingham Forest. Obviously playing up front as a 2 of Antilanga, but he's made sure he's dropped off to do his defensive job. But when he gets the ball, he always looks to be positive, and there he's just tried to check back across Joe Gomez. Little Cruyff turn. Joe Gomez just catches his thigh. Quite rightly, Sam Barrett, referee, gives a free kick.
To be taken by Harry Toffolo. Just slightly to the left of centre for Nottingham Forest, and not quite at the centre of the Wolves half. Chips it to the right-hand corner of the box. Bolly trying to head it back across the face of goal, but that's comfortable for Jose Sarr. You're listening to Wolves 1, Nottingham Forest 1 on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Ian Danter and Perry Groves with you at Molineux, where Wolves have possession. Sarabia in the centre circle. Options left and right. Slides it right for Semedo on the halfway line. Looks to release Boubacar Traoré down this near side. Early cross from Traoré. Very comfortable save for Matt Turner on the bounce. And he bowls it out underarm to Ryan Yates. 1-1 it stays.
Dan's Boubacar Traoré there has obviously whipped a ball early into the box. The problem for Wolverhampton Wanderers was there was nobody in the 18-yard box. Hwang Hee-chan and Kuna were on the edge of the 18-yard box, so it was the right idea from Traoré. Then you've got to have your centre forwards making runs, one across the near post, one to the far post. But they've just on their heels. In the end, it just easily went through to Matt Turner.
Notts County 1, Walsall 2 in League 2. Walsall have turned it around there. Isaac Hutchinson for the Saddlers. Real Betis 0. Real Madrid 1. I'll let you guess who the scorer is for Real Madrid.
Would it be Joe Bellingham's brother?
Yes, it is.
He's quite a good player,
as he's famously known.
He's quite a good player, isn't he?
Reasonable.
He's got a chance.
Yeah, he has got a chance. Might be retiring another shirt at a club if he's not careful. 18 matches, 16 goals and 4 assists.
What happens when you get a lot of English players going abroad? They need time to settle in, and get used to the culture. And obviously, he's used to the culture in Germany at Dortmund. Going to Spain, they've got to get used to the food, get used to the language. So once he actually settles in, I think he'll go on to have a decent career for Real Madrid.
I think that's a fair comment. Rotherham 1, Swansea 1. Sam Nombi equalises for Rotherham at the New York Stadium in the Championship. Here in the Premier League, Nelson Semedo coming forward for Wolves. Fouled by Harry Toffolo, who protests his innocence, but it's a free kick to Wolves, almost at the right-hand corner of the penalty area. And a chance for Wolves and Sarabia in particular to deliver another curling ball into the Forest danger area.
Well, I hope for Nottingham Forest and their fans and the manager's point of view that Wolves don't actually score from this free kick was going to be whipped in by Sarabia, because it was a fantastic tackle from Harry Toffolo. As he slid in, he just took the ball away from Nelson Semedo, and Sam Barrett, the referee, actually danced. He was going to let it flow, and then he decided to pull it back and give a free kick.
Morecambe 1, Stockport 0. Morecambe lead, lost their last 4 in the league, but Stockport have hit a bit of a wall, no winning 4, and Michael Mellon's given Morecambe the lead at the Globe. And Philip Billing has doubled Bournemouth lead at Manchester United. 2-0 now to the Cherries at Old Trafford. 1-1 here on Talksport 2, midway through the second half. A double change being readied by Gary O'Neill for Wolves, but meantime they have this free kick, Wolves, out on this near side, the Wolves right. Left-footed delivery to come from Pablo Sarabia. Forest holding their line at the edge of the penalty box. In it comes from Sarabia, looking for Dawson, but it's over his head and behind for a goal kick. As Ipswich double their lead at Middlesbrough in the Championship. That's a good result if they hang on to that. Middlesbrough 0, Ipswich 2, Amari Hutchinson. So Matt Doherty is coming on to replace Hugo Bueno, and Jean-Ric Nabeagard is coming on for the man that just took that free kick, Pablo Sarabia. So a double change for Wolves to try and effect the victory. As it is, it's a stalemate at the moment, Perry Groves, 1-1.
Yeah, you have to say that the home manager has to take the initiative, obviously Gary O'Neill being the Wolves manager, to try and affect the game, because Wolves have sort of huffed and puffed in the second half dance, haven't really created any clear-cut chances. I can't remember Matt Turner and Nottingham Forest goal having a save to make. So he's obviously going to try and influence what's going on the pitch.
So in the Premier League, Bournemouth 2 up at Manchester United, Burnley still 1 up at Brighton, Sheffield United leading Brentford by 1-0 at home, and Nottingham Forest still coming away from Molineux with a point as things stand. Danilo, good strength down the left-hand side of the area for Forest, into Alanga, across the face of goal, but nobody there to apply the finishing touch. Yates held back for a moment. Nico Williams, though, down by the corner flag, wins it back for Forest, puts it across the face of goal. Toffolo heads over from right underneath the crossbar, threw himself at it, and Harry Toffolo so close to getting his first 2 Nottingham Forest goals in the same game, but it stays 1-1.
Dance. Steve Cooper, the Nottingham Forest manager, put his hands in his head. He can't believe that Toffolo's actually missed that chance. Brilliant play from Nico Williams on the right-hand side. Just dinks the ball up, and Toffolo comes in the centre of the goal. Looks like he's going to head it into empty net and actually heads it over.
Lovely skill from Hwang. He finds Beargard out to the right-hand side, and Traore cross into the box, headed towards goal by Cunha, is very comfortably saved by Matt Turner. 1-1, but it's starting to build up here. And that's definitely the best chance of this second half that we've seen from Harry Toffolo there, who's in possession now.
It was a link-up from the 2 players, Dance, who obviously involved in Nottingham Forest's goal. Brilliant play from Nico Williams, the right wing-back for Nottingham Forest. Does the right thing, just dinks it up, and Toffolo makes a brilliant run and becomes the centre-forward. And I think because he's made such a sprinting run, it's actually taken him underneath the ball, where he couldn't calm himself down a little bit. But that's another huge chance, so you've got to say that Nottingham Forest have had that massive chance from check.
Now Ilanga down on the left-hand side for Nottingham Forest, into the area, left-hand corner of the box. It's sent goalwards by Yates. Oh, it's way over the bar, got underneath it, and it's a goal kick for Wolverhampton Wanderers. You're listening to Wolves 1, Forest 1 on Talksport 2 with Now. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action, like Aston Villa versus Arsenal, live today for £11.99. No contract. Just search Now Sports. Short goal kick for Wolves. Totti Gomez fires the ball along the deck up to halfway. Hwang almost gave it away to Gibbs White, but he was being fouled. It's a free kick for Wolves, which they want to take quickly, but it was a rolling ball, says referee Sam Barrett. Finally they do get things back underway. Here is Semedo. right in front of his manager Gary O'Neill. Has to go back into his own half to keep possession for Wolves. Bit of head tennis around the halfway line, and Mangala was being obstructed by Boubacar Traoré, so Forest now get a free kick just shy of the halfway line. And Murillo just waits for instructions from across at his bench, looks at Andy Reid. Andy Reid says wait, let's Harry Toffolo have the free kick. So 1-1 the score, Perry. Less than 20 minutes to go now.
Well, you have to say, Dance, that in the second half, Nottingham Forest have been the team that most likely to go on and get that goal. You just hope that they don't rue those missed chances they had from Kouyaté at the end of the first half and the header from Toffolo.
Brings the ball down. Mangala clips the ball into the box. Ilanga tried to set himself for an acrobatic scissor kick. He was cleared away by Semedo. Ilanga again with a drive, blocked. Comes out to the left-hand corner of the area. Gibbs White down the left-hand side of the box, whips a good ball in. Oh, clutch of players threw themselves at the ball in front of goal, and a Wolves player got the final touch, and it's a corner kick to Forest at the Stan Cullis end. There must have been about 6 players going for the same ball then. 1-1.
Yeah, it was a really good play again from Nottingham Forest on their left-hand side. Comes out to Morgan Gibbs White. He gets it onto his right foot, just whips the ball into the box. Looked like Ryan Yates would actually get the free header. I just said there, in the end it was a good defensive header from Totti Gomez, the Wolves centre half. Corner for Nottingham Forest over on their right-hand side,
where the Stan Cullis meets the Steve Bull, and it's Harry Toffolo who's going to take it once more for Nottingham Forest. The left-footed in-swinger raises his right arm. It's a deep centre to the far post, and it's come to be claimed by Jose Sarr, and it's thrown out to Cunha, and Wolves can launch a counter-attack. Forest are trying to get players back. Cunha trying to slide in Bayagard. He's overhit the pass, and Turner says, leave that to me, I tidy up. 3-0 to Bournemouth at Manchester United. Marcos Senesi, the Argentine centre-half. Wow, what a day. As you say, the Manager of the Month award, eh? Who needs it? And Simon Adingra has equalised for Brighton at home to Burnley. That's now 1-1 at the Amex in the Premier League. 1-1 here too, if you're just tuning in to Game Day exclusive. Nottingham Forest had the lead, pegged back by Wolves, but Forest are starting to ask questions. Can they get a 3-point haul that would surely keep Steve Cooper in a job for another week at least?
You're just looking at the Wolverhampton shape. Dan said that Gary O'Neill was just trying to affect what's happening in the game, so Cunha's come more central in with Hwang Hee-Chang to have that two-pronged attack. So he was telling Cunha with his two-fingered salute that he wanted to play 2 up front, and it wasn't that he was unhappy with him.
Good. I wonder whether Steve Cooper's thinking of gambling, because you know he's got Chris Wood on the bench, he's got Divock Origi on the bench. It's something slightly different. They don't have a target man out there today, Forest, do they, Perry?
They don't, but you have to say they're the team that's created the better clear-cut chances, and their finishing has been very, very loose. So at the moment, Steve Cooper's probably looking at...
Murillo gave the ball away after some initial great defending. Cunha into the area, driven and well saved by Turner. Shot comes out to the edge of the box. Anywhere will do for Forest to get it clear, and eventually they do. So Murillo did brilliantly initially to take the ball away from Hwang, and then he just presented the ball to Cunha, who got a low drive away from a tight angle, well saved by Turner. 1-1.
There's a brilliant save from Matt Turner, low down to his left-hand side. Could Cunha use his physicality just coming in from that left?
Here's Hwang down the left-hand side of the area, goes down. No penalty, says referee Barrett. Willy Bolly was the man at his back, and Bolly just calmly rolls the ball down the right flank for Nico Williams, who keeps the ball in play. Then was he fouled on halfway? No, says the referee. We play on. It's to and fro stuff here now on Talksport 2.
Dan, this is a game that's gone back to the 1980s with Sam Barrett, the referee, isn't giving any fouls. He's just letting the game flow. There's bodies going on the floor. He's just telling them to get off and wave play on. On first looks, when Hwang took on Willy Bolly, it looked like that Willy Bolly did really well. We're going to have a look at it again on the replay, because if it isn't a foul, then Hwang Hee-Chang has dived. He's just chucked himself to the floor. That's embarrassing, because Willy Bolly does really well. Hwang Hee-Chang thinks he's got inside of him, and he realised that Willy Bolly's too strong for him, and he's just thrown himself to the floor. Got to say, Dan, it's really good refereeing from Sam Barrett, the referee, because he's just wave play on. and then Nico Williams roared up the right-hand side. Then he thought he'd just gone past Totti Gomez, and then he put his hand on top of the ball, thought it was a foul, and Sam Barrett was going, I don't give fouls to that, Sunshine, play on. So the game's had a really good sort of tour and flow at the moment. It's like a basketball match.
Well, it's the breaking play at the moment. You've missed none of the action whilst Perry Groves has been chatting with me, because Murillo's been down getting some treatment. Hwang is still adamant that it should have been a penalty, and is telling anybody within earshot that it should have been given in his favour. Meantime, it is currently Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Nottingham Forest 1, with 14 minutes to go. And for the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Wolves to win it at 5-2, Forest to win it at 5-1, and the draw, that's priced at 4-7, and a change for Nottingham Forest. And Felipe is going to come on for Murillo, who cannot continue, throws his water bottle down in dismay as he comes off the field. The Brazilians played well again for Forest. Those odds all thanks to William Hill, by the way. Get epic value all season with William Hill. It's 18 plus, and the website that you need, as always, is begambleaware.org. Stay on this frequency for England against the West Indies in the ODI, the final ODI, locked at 1-1 from the first two games. West Indies won the first, England won the second. The decider is live and exclusive here on Talksport 2 after this commentary. But we've still got just over 12 minutes of normal time plus stoppage to go here at Molineux in the Premier League. Bournemouth 3-0 up at Manchester United. Burnley 1-1 with Brighton. Sheffield United leading Brentford by 1-0. And here at Molineux, it is Wolves 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Perry Groves alongside me today.
Dan says definitely going to be a goal left in this game, because both teams are actually going for the win here. To be fair to Nottingham Forest, they haven't sat back in the second half. You know, they've been on the front foot. They've tried to create the chances.
It's Nico Williams to fire a ball into the edge of the Wolves box, headed up in the air by Kilman, drops for Danilo, trying to hook it back towards the Wolves penalty area. They bring it clear the home side. Nelson Semedo scampering down this near touchline. Only really Beauregard keeping up with him at the moment, so he just jockeys his man and plays the ball in field to Jean-Luc Beauregard. And back it goes to Kilman on halfway. He spreads play across the field to the left-hand side via Totti Gomez to Matt Doherty. Now Hwang down the left-hand side of the box, tries to get a cross in, deflection, corner, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1-1.
Yeah, good link-up play on Wolves' left-hand side. Matt Doherty just rolling the ball to Hwang Hee-Chang. To be fair to Felipe, who just come on, he made sure he got the block.
Short corner taken quickly into the near post, headed out by Felipe. Boubacar Traoré heads it down. Kilman tees up Boubacar Traoré. That's an awful shot. That's like one of mine. That was so wild, and so we're nowhere near getting on target. It landed only about 7 or 8 rows back, but it was a good 20 yards wide of the right hand post. 1-1 goal kick Forest.
I think it's definitely take free off the tee there, wasn't it, for Boubacar Traoré, because as the ball just rolled back from Max Kilman, he's just got himself completely underneath the ball, and it was definitely a mind the winders.
Cardiff 1, Millwall 0 in the Championship. Dimitrios Skoutas giving Cardiff the lead in South Wales. Here's Elanga for Nottingham Forest, who scored the winner when they beat Chelsea in their only away win so far this season. It's 1-1 at the moment, just over 10 minutes to go. Ball sent forward under pressure by Toffolo, going to bounce around the centre circle. Wolves win it back. Boubacar Traoré taking an ace to bring it under control, but finally he does. Keeps it away from Danilo, and then Semedo, faced up by Toffolo, will roll it back a couple of yards for Kilman into the centre circle of Beauregard. Game still being played at a very, very high tempo. Back it goes to Totti Gomez. Dawson now, just ahead of his own 18-yard box, plays a sensible ball to his right-hand side for Kilman, who gets up to the halfway line. Flicks it right for Semedo, but Semedo has to come back inside his own half to keep possession, being pressurised by Toffolo. Semedo comes in field. Derby County 3-0 up at Leyton Orient now. Tom Barkhausen given away by Wolves. Here comes Nico Williams for Nottingham Forest. Goes down, wants a free kick. Referee shakes his head. Wolves have it now. Hwang just shy of the halfway line. 10 minutes to go on Talksport 2. 1-1. There's a winner in this for either side. No doubt whatsoever. Kilman up towards the halfway line, has got support from Semedo, who's now joining him. Forest have got players back. Semedo turns away from Danilo and works it back to the halfway line for Maximilian Kilman. Beauregard in the centre circle now for Wolves. Spins away from Yates and plays a ball just to the left for Totti Gomez, who slides it out to Matt Doherty on the left-hand side. Midway point of the half. Ball in field to the centre of the half for Boubacar Traoré. Elects not to shoot this time. Gives it to Semedo. Semedo to the right-hand corner of the area. Feints the cross. Checks back onto his left foot. Rolls it back 15 yards or so for Kilman. He'll put a diagonal ball in, will he? No, he sends it back to the centre circle, much to the annoyance of the home support. Now Semedo again on this near side. Will he whip across? And he will. And Turner will claim it on his goal line. I thought for one fleeting moment that Turner was going to get caught out by that cross, but the American adjusted his footing and held on to it. 1-1.
Yeah, Nathan Semedo couldn't really get his foot around the ball, just right hand side, just trying to whip it in. Just put it too close to Matt Turner. Just picked it off the tree like he's picking apples. To be fair to Wolves, what Gary Neal's done is he's obviously put Cunha and Hwang Hee-Chang up front, and Beauregard is just playing in behind them, so he's still a 3-4-3, but he's just tweaked it a little bit just to try and create Nottingham Forest a few problems with Beauregard playing in that number 10 position.
And Forest are going to tweak it going further forward in just a moment, because Chris Wood is going to be coming on for Anthony Elanga, we're told. 82 minutes gone. Wolves 1, Forest 1. Elanga in possession down the right hand side. Great challenge from Dawson. Put the ball out for a throw. Elanga will stay out there for a moment. Steve Cooper not electing to make the change just yet. Reading 1, Barnsley 2. Barnsley turn it around at the Select Car Leasing. Devante Cole gets his 12th goal of the season for the Tykes. Reading 1, Barnsley 2. And now they do elect to make the change. Nottingham Forest, as Niakate prepares to take a long throw. Who better to try and latch onto a long throw than the man that's coming on, the New Zealander, Chris Wood, as he comes on for Elanga. Perry Groves.
Yeah, I'll give him more of a physical presence up front, because Nottingham Forest have been getting decent crosses into the box. So Chris Wood will give them that physicality. And the ball will be launched into the box. Chris Wood will sprint to the near post, see if he can get the flick on.
In fact, he's just dropped to the edge of the air for a moment to have a quick word with Danilo, who's standing on his own Danilo, 25 yards out. Nobody in a Wolves shirt within 10 yards of him, just in case any bits and pieces come his way. Niakate with a long throw into the near post. It's headed up by Dawson. Where's that going to drop? Has it gone up for a corner? It is a corner, given by the assistant on that far side of the field. So Forest with only their second corner of this second half, I think. Trying to lose count. 1-1. Toffolo goes across to that Stan Cullis Steve Ball corner to take this latest set piece for the visitors at 1-1. Forest players around the penalty spot. In it comes from Toffolo, whips into the near post, flicked on by Niakate, might drop for Danilo, and then Gibbs White tries to wrap his right foot round it, but can't get over top of the ball, and it goes over the top of the crossbar. Goal kick, 1-1.
Yeah, as the ball just dropped out to the 18-yard box, it came to Morgan Gibbs White. As it bounces up about waist height, he's trying to get himself over the top of the ball. In the end, he just gets himself at the bottom of the ball, slices it completely, just goes harmlessly over Jose Sar's goal.
I don't know whether Danilo was better positioned there to take the strike on goal. They were both standing in that similar sort of area. It looked like Danilo was better set. Felipe with a big challenge, having come on as a Forest substitute at the back to stop Hwang getting away. Tranmere lead Newport. They've come from behind to lead. Connor Jennings late on for Tranmere, and Stockport equalise at Morecambe. Kyle Wood makes it 1-1 up there on the Fylde coast. AFC Wimbledon 3, Swindon Town 0. Ali Al-Hamadi, 9 goals for the season for him. It's 3-0 to AFC Wimbledon at Plough Lane. 1-1 here at Molineux. Beauregard goes to ground. Referee says play on. Wood gets his first involvement, slides it out to the right-hand side, looking for Nico Williams. Sliding in to win it back was Totti Gomez. 5 minutes of normal time to go on Talksport 2. Wolves 1. Forest 1. Real anticipation inside this stadium that a winner can be found by both sets of supporters. It's back with Maximilian Kilman. Floats the ball out to the inside left channel inside his own half for Totti Gomez. Now Craig Dawson gets his head up. Thought about a diagonal ball downfield, but decides against it in the end.
There's just not enough movement from Wolves up front at the moment. I've just looked at Cunha and Hwang Hee-Chang. Wolves have been in possession. They've had about 6 or 7 passes going from Kilman back into Dawson, back out to Totti Gomez, and Cunha and Hwang Hee-Chang have just stayed in exactly the same positions. So they've got to make sure that they rotate a little bit better, because you can hear the frustration amongst the Wolves fans.
I make that 10 or 12 passes between Kilman, Dawson and Totti Gomez. It's like watching Liverpool in the 1970s. Thompson, Hansen, Neil, back to Hansen,
back to Grobler.
Yeah, back to Grobler. That was before the back pass rule came in, which was a good idea. Now Wolves down the left-hand side trying to set Matt Doherty away, but it's drifted out of play. Will Steve Cooper be happy with a point at this point, Perry Groves? And will that be enough for him
If you'd have said before the game that, I think off the record he said he'd be happy with a draw, but when you see the chances that Nottingham Forest have missed, we mentioned obviously about Cecchiato's 1v1 with Jose Sarr, Toffolo's header over the bar from 3 yards, and also Dance, he'll be delighted with the response from his Nottingham Forest players, because they got absolutely hammered 5-0 during the week at Fulham, and it looked like he might have lost the players. You can tell today that these players are putting in a shift for him.
31,543 inside Molyneux watching this, including myself, Ian Danta and Perry Groves. Wolves 1, Forest 1, 3 minutes to go, plus whatever the referee wants to add on for stoppages. Nelson Semedo for the hosts. Midway point of the Forest half, holding off Toffolo, slips slightly Semedo, so he gives it back to Kilman. Kilman finds Dawson in the centre circle. Charlton 2, Cambridge 1. Cambridge get a goal back at the Valley late on through Ghassan Ahadmi. Ball's out of play for a Wolves throw. Out on the far side of the field. There is time yet for a winner to be found. Dawson inside his own half. Hits a diagonal ball into it, looking for Semedo on this near side. Brought down brilliantly by Semedo. Almost level with the Nottingham Forest penalty area. Has to work it back there to Kilman. Kilman, the little ball down the right-hand side of the box with the outside of his left foot, very deftly done. And that forces Forest to put the ball out of play for a throw. Sheffield Wednesday lead late on at Stoke. Anthony Musaba for Wednesday. Forest win the ball back at the edge of their own area. Wood just fires it downfield aimlessly. It was Limber Gibbs-White, picked up by Kilman. 2 minutes to go, 1-1. Here is Matt Doherty out on the left-hand side, leaves it for Totti Gomez, approaching the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Again, Wolves being patient, but Gary O'Neill going absolutely tonto down beneath us, wanting quicker passing, crisper passing. It's sent out to Nelson Semedo on this near side. Infield it goes to Hwang. Up to the edge of the area, it's one back by Forest, and now Danilo is sprinting up towards the halfway line. Gibbs-White's gone ahead of him, tries to play it through to Gibbs-White, but he couldn't control the through ball, and Dawson will calmly guide it back to his keeper. 1-1.
Yeah, that's where Nottingham Forest got to be better when they're in transition. When it comes to Danilo, he puts the right ball into Morgan Gibbs-White. He's away from Craig Dawson, just overhits it, gives the ball away, relinquishes possession back to Wolverhampton Wanderers. You can tell the Wolves fans want their players to move the ball a little bit quicker, get it forward a little bit quicker.
So did the manager. Here's Cunha on halfway. Reading 1, Barnsley 3. Max Watters for Barnsley. The points are safe. It's going to be 4 minutes of minimum added time that we're about to go into now on Talksport 2, with the score locked at 1 apiece between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Nottingham Forest. Sasa Kalajic's going to be introduced for these stoppage time minutes as well for Wolves.
But you don't need to pass your coaching bashes, Dance, to know what's going to happen now from Wolves' point of view, because Kalajic will go up front. He's 6'7", so they will just be loading the ball into the box. Can they create that opportunity from the wide areas to get decent crosses in? And then can Nottingham Forest, the centre halves of Niakate, Bowley and Felipe, make sure they see this last 4 minutes out?
It's 1-1, and here comes the change. Sasa Kalajic is going to come on for Matthias Cunha, who scored Wolves' equaliser. Very well worked goal in the first half. So the giant man Sasa Kalajic is on. He was the man that Andre Onana collided with late on at Old Trafford on the first game of the season. So we're into those 4 minutes, but nearly a minute of those have ticked by whilst the substitution was being made. So we may get closer to 95 minutes played before the full-time whistle goes here at Molyneux on Talksport 2. 1-1 the score. Nottingham Forest have a throw. Midway point of their own half, right in front of us on this left-hand side for Moussa Niakate, who feints to throw the ball back to his keeper. 4-0 to Bournemouth at Manchester United. Dango Ouattara. Manchester United 0, Bournemouth 4. Speaking to a friend of mine who was going to commentate on that game today, and he said, I fancy Bournemouth today. Not many.
Well, we actually saw them dance, didn't we, against Sheffield United, where Sheffield United made Bournemouth look like we thought Barcelona, where Bournemouth played really, really well.
Yeah.
And they've carried on that form from there. So.
And now a free kick for Wolves as Beergaard was taken down. Midway point of the half, chance for Wolves to put the ball into the danger area here. Peterborough have got a third against Oxford. Ryan de Havilland makes it Peterborough 3, Oxford 0, Northampton 3, Fleetwood 0. Mitch Pinnock with his second of the afternoon. Aberdeen have won it late on, it seems, against Hearts for their first win in 7. Leighton Clarkson. And a free kick for Wolves in the 3rd minute of added time at 1-1. And it's going to be sent in from this right-hand side.
Just got to make sure that Joel Gomez, he hits the right area. He's got to just bend this ball in between the penalty spot on the 18-yard line. Nottingham Forest are keeping a really high line dance on the edge of the D.
In it comes from João Gomes, floated to the far side, headed across goal by Totti Gomez. Where's that going to drop? Chris Wood goes down, lands on the ball, he was being pushed. Free kick, says referee Barrett. Frustration for the Wolves fans. 3 minutes of added time have gone. And that Bournemouth 4th goal has been ruled out for handball, so it's just the 3-0 to Bournemouth. Ouattara's goal ruled out for handball. Comebacks on at the job serve as well. Colchester 1, Crawley 2. Joseph Taylor in the 97th minute. Believe, Perry.
Don't write off the U's. Just looking at the ball, said about Joel Gomez there, Dance, he's actually floated it to the far post when there's a massive gap between the 6-yard box and the 18-yard box. You should just be bending it in that area. Yeah. To be fair, when the ball came in, Chris Wood did really well because he just felt the presence of Max Kilman and he just went to ground. Sam Boughton, referee, gave the free kick.
Here is Semenyo finding Hwang on the halfway line. Wolves fans want him further forward. Last seconds of the game on Talksport 2. 1-1 the score. Is there to be a dramatic late winner? Dawson tries to drill the ball forward. It's headed up to halfway for Forest by Harry Toffolo, but Gibbs White won't be able to get anywhere near that. It's gone out of play for a throw. Time running out. The 4 minutes of minimum stoppage time have elapsed. It is down to Sam Barrett from this point to find out how much more we will play. Beergaard hugging this near side, the right-hand touchline with Wolves attacking the Jack Hayward. Poor pass intended for Semedo, and Niakate will let the ball go out of play, and there's the full-time whistle. Applause from the Forest fans opposite us. A point for Steve Cooper at Molineux as he shakes hands with Gary O'Neill. Is that point going to be enough for Evangelos Marinakis to be satisfied to keep Steve Cooper in the job for another week? They took the lead, Forest, in the first half. Harry Toffolo's first goal for the club, combining with the other wing-back, Nico Williams. His neat cross from the right was headed home on the left-hand side of the area by Toffolo, despite the attempts of Craig Dawson to keep it out. But Wolves equalised before half-time. Matthias Cunha, after a lovely sweeping move down the right-hand side of the box for Wolves, finished off by Cunha for his 5th Premier League goal of the season. Probably the best chance of the second half went to Toffolo to get his 2nd Forest goal in his career at the City Ground. And he was so close to getting it as Williams again supplied a cross from the byline. He threw himself at it with a header, but it went just over. And so Forest have to settle for a point. But looking at the way that their fans are responding to this result, they are more than happy, having travelled from East Midlands to West, to get a share of the spoils here at Molineux. Full time, it is Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Nottingham Forest 1.
Thank you very much, Ian Danter, as Steve Cooper goes across to the Forest fans, waving, clapping, much as he did on Wednesday night after they'd lost 5-0. A much better performance with a raft of changes, 7 different changes, as he benched some of the big money players they brought in the summer and went with players that he trusted, Perry. And I have to say that, you know, we sort of suggested in that commentary there that both teams could have won it at the end, and that's how it ended, but Forest did have the better chances.
Very much so. I think Steve Cooper, the Nottingham Forest manager, will be absolutely delighted with the effort and the shift that his players have put in. Now that is the benchmark from now on, because they've been very poor away from home since they've got back into the Premier League. And as you said there, John, Nottingham Forest actually had the better chances, the more clear-cut chances. They had a brilliant one at the end of the first half where Chet Kyote's 1v1 with Jose Sarr, and he should score. And then halfway through the second half, really good play down their right-hand side again from Nico Williams, gets to the byline, does exactly what he should do, just dinks it up. Harry Toffolo makes a fantastic run from the left wing-back position, gets himself in the centre-forward position right in the middle of the 6-yard box. Looks like he's going to head it into an empty net, and I think because of the pace of his run, he's actually run underneath the ball, headed over the crossbar. They were the 2 clear-cut chances. Wolves huffed and puffed in the second half. Didn't really create anything of it. Mac Turner had one difficult save to make low down to his left-hand side from Matthias Cunha. Apart from that, it was a really good, disciplined defensive effort from Nottingham Forest, but they did look very, very dangerous on the counter-attack.
And the difference between Wednesday night, where literally, and Steve Cooper said this in his post-match press conference, Fulham were just running straight through the middle of them. He's changed formation, he's changed personnel, and I think it says a lot about the players that he hasn't even considered bringing on. In fact, most of them I didn't even see warming up in that game. I think he's sending out a message to them, and I think if Evangelos Marinakis thinks that now is the time that actually, yes, okay, Steve Cooper's not won the game, he's done, there's going to be quite a lot of Forest fans, and we can see 2,000 or so here, all cheering the players and all cheering Steve Cooper, who'll be very upset.
Well, look, what you look at when you manage under a bit of pressure, let's be honest, Steve Cooper is under pressure because of the poor away form that we've seen, and they lost a couple of home games as well. Has he lost the players? Are the players not putting in the right effort and the right shift? Today, they've proved beyond all reasonable doubt that this 11 who started the game are actually behind Steve Cooper, and even the substitutes that came on are behind Steve Cooper. And one thing that I noticed, when he went obviously the 3 centre halves, it ended up being 5 at the back, 5-4-1 out of possession. Morgan Gibbs-White actually worked his socks off defensively. He made sure that he tagged himself onto Joe Gomez so they couldn't get himself on the ball. So everybody did their job defensively, and everybody put in 100% effort. Now that is, as I said, that is a prerequisite. That hasn't been happening. So now he'll go into the dressing room and he'll say to his players, that's the least that I expect, because they've come to Molineux. Wolves are very good at home. They've only lost 2 out of the last 12, 2 out of 13 now, and they've actually gone toe-to-toe with Wolverhampton Wanderers, who've been in decent form themselves, and they've come away with a draw. Arguably, as said, they should have come away maybe with a victory. Wolves' problem is, when teams come here and they don't press them from the front and try and close them down, Wolves have a problem in creativity. They don't actually have that sort of imagination, in the midfield area to carve open those chances. But it was a really, really good game. It was a bit of a slow burner. I'd say it was a bit static the first sort of 10 minutes, and then from when Nottingham Forest went 1-0 in front, then the game was excellent. It was a high pace, high tempo, really good advert for the Premier League. And I've got to say, the referees and the VAR are taking a lot of stick just lately. Sam Barrett, the referee, I thought was absolutely excellent. He let the game flow. He didn't, just pull up for like silly little fouls. And he actually, about 3 or 4 times, he gestured for players to get up, which I love.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I've just got to get your thoughts, Perry, very quickly on Manchester United. 3-0 at home to Bournemouth, of course. Gary Neal, we've seen jumping up and down on the Wolves sideline here, was removed from his position at Bournemouth, and they've gone and done that. Well, no, obviously not just now, but you know what I mean. They've gone and got another result at Old Trafford, and it feels like if you're a team that's going to play and just go for it at Old Trafford, you're probably going to get a result against Manchester United.
Well, we said it was the manager month curse, wasn't it? Because Eric Ten Hag got manager month, Harry Maguire got Premier League player of the month.
Yeah.
And we saw Bournemouth at Bramall Lane against Sheffield. Sheffield United were really poor, and Bournemouth looked really good, and especially in the midfield area, Ryan Christie and Lewis Cook, who sort of controlled the game. And Andoni Iraola, the Bournemouth manager, is just starting, obviously, to get his message across and his philosophy, because it's a different one. Gary O'Neill did a brilliant job keeping Bournemouth up because they needed to survive. And now and earlier on he's let his players go and sort of express themselves. To say they've gone to Old Trafford, and actually that's a hammering. 3-0 is a hammering. You don't sort of get away with a 3-0. You know, when you say backs to the wall when you nick a goal. So it'd be interesting to see. Well, you know what the Old Trafford faithful is going to be like, because it's going to be pretty toxic there, and Erik ten Hag will have all the questions thrown at him now. Whether same thing, the players have if he's lost the players, you know, there's a split dressing room there, and especially being at Old Trafford as well, where their Premier League form in the month has been okay. It's been in the Champions League they've struggled, but I think every game that Manchester United have, even if they win it, they paper over the cracks. It's not as if it's a team that's full of solidarity, you know, and they're together. They rely on their individual brilliance. Looks like that obviously Bournemouth gone there and played them off the park.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like Ten Hag's going to back down with Jadon Sancho, so he's going to persist with that one. So Manchester United are 6th, and with that win, Bournemouth are up to 13th. Also, a couple of results not going so well for Forest, with Sheffield United getting a win as well. They won 1-0 at home to Brentford, so the Chris Wilder factors has come in and working well for them.
Yeah, the new manager bounce. Obviously, Brentford have got a lot of injuries. Obviously, Brian Mbeumo is injured as well, so they're down to their bare bones. So you just need that victory, you know, to get the belief amongst the players. And Chris Wilder will try and make Bramall Lane a difficult place to go to. But I don't think that Steve Cooper, obviously, will be aware of the results when he comes off the pitch. But this is too early in the season to be worrying about, you know, your rivals, where you are in the league. He'll just be delighted with his team's effort and application here today.
Yeah, well, Ian Danter's going to go in and speak to Steve Cooper very, very soon. Oh, no, he's not. Or someone is. Dave Rowe's going to go and speak to Steve Cooper, and also Gary O'Neill. And I'd be very interested to know if Steve Cooper is as embarrassed as he was on Wednesday night with the fans singing his name, because I have a feeling he won't be. He looked pretty proud of his players, and he was certainly giving the fans a thank you as well. It's now time to pick our man of the match in this game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
So Perry, we've watched 90 odd minutes or so here at Molineux, and who are you going to go for?
Well, it's going to be a Nottingham Forest player, because I thought their team performance was excellent here at Molineux. I thought the two wing backs were excellent. Nico Williams and Harry Toffolo obviously involved for the Toffolo's goal, and Toffolo should have got his second goal for Nottingham Forest with a great cross again from Nico Williams. But from the get-go, Dance himself mentioned Willy Bolly in commentary. He had two fantastic sliding tackles which were timed to perfection. And when you're playing away from home against a team who's got good home form, you need your centre half to stand up and be counted. And Willy Bolly playing against his old team as well, I thought he was absolutely outstanding. I can't remember him missing a tackle. I can't remember him missing a header. So I'm going to give Willy Bolly my man in the match.
Yeah, they absolutely loved Willy here at Molineux, but maybe not so much today. That was our man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.